Starting off with a Rhino Heart. Let me take all the points off the screen. It is 0-0. Holy Royal indeed. That is looking nice. So we have 2 negate on the Apollo, potentially. We also have the Fairy Tail Snow to flip the D Lotus face down. Chain the Max C. Are we using Apollo to negate the Max C? Of course we are. Negate. And I don't think we know what that trap is unless a Scream was milled. Probably not. No, I don't think so. It is hidden. Dotscaper when sent to the grave or banish triggers. So you trigger it off of milling, you trigger it off of banishing it with snow. We're going to be special summoning the Squirmer, taking out the D Lotus. As we are going to then, because we targeted it for flipping it down, that does not work. We're going to follow up the Nightmare Pain, searching for a Spirit of Yubel. If we get Squirmer in the graveyard, we could special summon Spirit of Yubel from the hand if we want to. We're going to use the Phantom of Yubel and the Squirmer to make a Chaos Angel, but not done through a light monster, so it is affected by something like Apollo. We're going to use Droplet instead, send the Fairy Tail Snow to reduce by half and negate Chaos Angel. And if you want to, you could check by clicking on the card. So see, it wasn't used by light. In the battle phase, we're going to banish 7 cards to the graveyard with 3 left, which was counting the Fairy Tail Snow. On summon, flip the Chaos Angel face down. Squirmer main phase 2 into Apollo negate. That's why we went to the battle phase to take out that Apollo USA. Negate. What now? What now? Follow up. This is bullying. Jesse's 60-card deck. I'm really liking it. I also like playing conservative tier with 40 cards and no other extra engines, just a bunch of non-engine, which is a more boring way to play the deck. But this looks too spicy to not play. The problem for many of you, if you want to try the deck out, 3 Triva Karma is 3 ultra rares, and that's not going to be usable in any other deck if you don't end up liking the deck. Little Knight on summon, banishing the back row, so we're not going to be going directly this turn. We have Spirit of Yubel with no way to negate that Spirit of Yubel as we grab a Nightmare Pain from the deck. Now, the King Sark could send the Spirit of Yubel to the graveyard by card effect, non-target send. Jeez, Jesse, put him out of his misery. What is going on? We got Snow in the graveyard with 6 cards in the grave. Return from the grave to come forth and summon Phantom of Yubel to trigger our Sharon. Chain Maxi instead of negating with the Phantom of Yubel. It's time to get fusion summoning with the Kit Kalos. Return Kit Kal and Sharon to now make Root Kalos, which will trigger the field spell to wipe out the Phantom of Yubel, and we have a special summon negate. Nightmare Throne activating to grab a Spirit of Yubel, as we now follow up with the Nightmare Pain, activating to pop the Spirit from the hand, search our deck for a D Lotus, which we have not normal summoned yet. Spirit trigger, Root Kalos, negate. Now, you may be thinking you don't want to send with Root Kalos and then reborn it under Maxi, but in graveyard negating, you don't have to send. It stays in the field, it's fine. But what do we do about that D Lotus? Is it a problem? Not a problem. Sulliek, negate. So we're going to link this off into an Almirage, which you would then use Spirit Gates to reborn, but we do not have that. End our turn. Let's go. Do we have anything to deal with that Phantom of Yubel? Well, the King Sark will deal with it. Start of the damage step, send it off the field just like that. Get out of here. Open field. Lethal damage. Jesse taking a Game 1 victory. And we need 5 points to win. All right. All right. All right. Fusion deployment. Cartesia from the deck. Cartesia get fusion summoning into Grand Granule. Reveal the Grand Granule and summon the Grand Granule. Grand Granule and Tragedy both triggering to send a card from the extra deck or deck to the grave, as we also search our deck for an Alibur. We have not committed to a normal summon yet, so this has been working out quite... Oh, you're toxic. You are super toxic. We're going to Veil or negate the Alibur. He's got the Vice King Requiem to reborn it onto the opponent's side of the field. And while you control this card, you cannot special summon except triple D monsters. but you could Yubel with the Nightmare Pain pop it, and you play 2 Nightmare Pains. You could Shavara, tribute summon over it. You could Bestial, tribute summon over it. It is a continuous effect only while it's face up on the field, where the puppet, even if you dealt with the puppet afterward, you still could not special summon. Now, being used against Snake Eye Fire King could prove to be pretty good, but we're not able to even get it out. We are wiping away our entire field for a fat, forbidden droplet. Negates. 2 monsters on the Arvata and the Ash. Is there anything in the opponent's graveyard to reborn? Is there a fire monster? There is not, but we could make a Dark. Dark could reborn a Dark monster from their graveyard for easy access and efficient access to our Promethean Princess. Always look in the opponent's graveyard for there being a Dark or Fire. We have Cartesia being summoned to send from the deck an Albaz. This actually just turned into Disruption. Because you summoned a monster through a monster effect, the Grand Granule summoning the Quem, sending an Albaz. If you move a card from the extra deck, summoning a Promethean Princess, for example, the Quem will reborn the Albaz, which will then fuse with the Promethean into a Mirror Jade, which will then banish the High Avatar Kirin, so we can't have that happen. This became a huge problem that we could just battle right over, right? Send Alibur, summon the Oak, but then it's going to at least eat our battle phase. Do we want to deal with that? Ash, send to the graveyard the Oak to summon from the deck of Flameburst. Well, now Flameburst can just push you into the back row before you summon the Albaz, before we go into our extra deck to trigger the Quem. And now we got Promethean. Trigger the Flameburst, reborn from the grave, Ash and Oak, Promethean, reborn the Arvata, 8,600 damage on the field. Raging Phoenix is here, dropping us to 100 less when we had lethal, as we now have Nightmare Phoenix. Now, this on an open field is lethal damage. Because we are co-linked, we can destroy our own card, which will trigger the Raging Phoenix to summon from the graveyard. Attack, attack, attack. And then Zealantis, our own monster, triggering Raging to reborn, triggering Arvata to reborn for at least 5,000 more damage, just like that. 24 with the boosted Raging Phoenix, 4,600. Damn. All right, that's 2-0. 2-0, what about the third teammate? We have hard summoning right away at the start of our main phase into a Phantom of Yubel to help counter cards like Maxi, Ash Blossom, Big Monster Negates. Reveal just 3 cards off the top of our deck to grab an Ash Blossom. And all of that because we had a Nightmare Throne, which do we negate the Ash and possibly get Max Seed? Gotcha. I got a D-Lotus in my hand. Damn. Oh my gosh. Throne, D-Lotus, Yubel, another monster, and a pot of pee. Ain't that something? Nice try. You did eat off 1 disruption. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 disruptions versus a 3-card hand because 1's Nibiru. Oh boy. Well, now 4. Poplar. Just negate everything, right? You don't even have to think. We have 2 more monster negates where that came from. Negate. Okay. Link this off into a Link Karibo. Not an Anima to force out the Apollo to have to negate again. We have to do this. You know, it's not something that we made a mistake on. Escape within the end phase. Pop in that Link Karibo, triggering the Yama, triggering the Soul of Rage. Add back the in-grave monster that we want, whatever we want. It could be a D-Lotus. We're going to be grabbing a Spirit of Yubel to pop with our Nightmare Pain. And I think this is it. It's over. Yes, 7,700 damage on an open field. We should be able to win it. Right here, right now. Ash negate the Nightmare Throne. Sure, didn't care. Nightmare Pain, pop in the Spirit, grab the Squirmer. Trigger Spirit, summon Yubel. Squirmer special summon, pop Yubel, summon Terra Incarnate. Trigger the field spell, return a Phantom back into the extra deck. Come forth. Further link this up into Soul of Rage. Return from the grave, summon a Phantom of Yubel. Further Shokan into a Chaos Angel. Don't activate to open them up to use impermanence. And we have 67, still not game. Further Shokan this up into Access Code Talker Boost up. We knew that there was a Nibiru, so we have a negate. No problem, mate. There you go. negate. Nibiru, lethal damage with Chaos Angel and access code Talker. Finish him. Get in with the Apollo. That's considered BM. Lethal damage. 3-0. It's not over yet. You have to win 5 times. So the opposing team could do a reverse sweep and just end up winning the whole round. Safe to log in with Discord in your site? Yes, it is an integration through Discord itself. The Discord login, it's like logging in with Google if a site has a Google thing. Is there some site of Discord website article link that tells you to log in through Discord is safe? So, you know. Left arm offering, banishing our entire hand. You can't set cards the turn you activate this. So goodbye to our Called By, our King Sark, to grab the grass looking green. It is time. Now, how can we even safely do this? Did we perform a check? We did. The I'm SETI, discarding a card, is a really good ash check because you definitely want to ash them adding plus drawing. If they don't ash this, then you are safe to offer your left arm up for the grass looking green. We're about to mill a ton of cards here. Let's go. Kit Cal is here. Are we going to regret the Lean Garibo not being on the field? Well, no impermanence. We probably felt out the delays and there was none. Kit Cal sent itself to Reborn the Rhino, which will be able to send a Sharon from the deck to the grave if we still have one in the deck. We should, right? There's only 2 Sharon. There's 1 Sharon in the grave. We milled 5. It was not Sharon. There's the second and final Sharon to trigger the Rhino to chain link block it from a Ghost Spell, I guess. The Tearlami Kashtira is also going to be... This is a very cool play. It feels like cheating. You can only activate Rhino Heart if you have a Tearlami card in your hand to discard. So otherwise, it's an illegal activation. So because it's a legal activation at the time it activates, you then get that card out of your hand because the card is Tearlami Kashtira. So banish a card like Tearlami Grief in the graveyard, and then Rhino comes out and doesn't have to discard. What the hell? Let's go. So if you have a Tearlami Trap and a Tearlami Kashtira, make sure you set it, trigger Rhino, then summon Tearlami Kashtira, and you discard nothing. Come forth Root Kalos for a special summon negates. Mill 3 with the Tearlami Kashtira. We have so many cards on the graveyard. 35 in grave. Further exceeds this up into Abyss Dweller. I'd say this is a pretty good meta call today. The top 3 decks in today's event, Yubel, Snake Eye Fire King, and Tearlament. Dweller turning off their graveyard for the entire turn affects all 3 of those decks. Let's go. 2 negate with the Apollo, 1 negate with the Rukal, Floodgate with the Dweller, and we do have a Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard. We're going to mill 3 off of the normal summon of the Volcanics. Let's see what 3 cards we mill. Jet Synchron, interesting. Okay. The Kirin in graveyard cannot activate. The Ponix will trigger, but you can't trigger the Garunix alongside it. Only 1 monster effect among many that have the effect of summon from the hand can activate within the same chain, because Konami said so. We are now going to Fire King Island, pop the Ponix, searching for a Kirin. Sure. Garunix trigger, come forth and summon. Apollo, negates. Kirin, negate with the Root Kalos mate. I don't think so. Searching for a Scream off of the Triva Karma, banishing in response to our Root Kalos negating. We're going to Original Sinful, send Volcanic, summon a Snake Eye Ash. With the Ash, we're going to be grabbing a Poplar. Poplar trigger, come forth and summon itself onto the field, searching our deck for a Snake Eye Divine Temple. To battle we go, big enough to take out that Apollo USA, but nothing more, as we then main phase 2 it up into a Nightmare Phoenix. On summon, discard Garunix, taking out the field spell. Now, Dweller can be used on our own turn, and it's not a big deal. We're going to be able to stop the Garunix in grave, because if we destroy the Phoenix, the Garunix would want to trigger. But instead, we could leave the Root Kalos to be the one to negate the Garunix as long as there are no multiple triggering effects, which would potentially chainlink block the Garunix on reborning from the graveyard. So let's see what we do. Ponix activating, which means we could have draw phase Dweller, turn off Ponix, turn off Garunix, turn off anything in the graveyard. Should we have done that? Possibly a slight blunder here. unless we don't commit to Dweller this turn. Reborn from the grave Sharon, send Sharon, trigger the fusion summon. It's time. And the scream, because we have a Root Kalos called by the grave, fingering that Sharon, negates. Now, you can only play 2 Sharon and 1 Havnis. So ideally, you are fingering the Havnis if you are able to. It was good to definitely finger her, though. We have Fairy Tale Snow with 40 cards in the graveyard. Reborn from the grave, trigger Dotscaper to, I guess, link off with the Fairy Tale Snow, making an Anima. Anima, give the Phoenix the good suck. We're going to Root Kalos, negate, and destroy the field spell. Well, what triggers the effect of Garunix Engrave? A fire monster has to be destroyed. Well, I don't see a fire monster. The fire monster in your back row tried to summon, we stopped it. The fire monster in the field, we didn't destroy it, we sucked it up. And just like that, lethal damage without even having to activate our Abyss Dweller to turn off their grave. Very well done. Let's hop into another one. Are we sweeping? What the heck? We're at 4-0? Begin. Yes, tell your grandchildren that story. Dimension Shifter, Fetty Guap, you dirty boy. I'm loving it. So we got Dimension Shifter against Yubel. How much does this affect Yubel? We're about to find out. Let's go. Dark Beckoning Beast, adding from the deck a Chaos Summoning Beast, which we could additionally summon here. We do have a Spirit Gates to also search for another Dark Beckoning Beast. We can't get them into the graveyard, so we can't use the other effect of Spirit Gates to discard to Reborn. Goodbye to both of our cards as we now make a Lord of Yama. Now, Shavara can't trigger because it can't go to the graveyard to set up an escape. So what's our best play? Set a card, banish that card, make a Soul of Rage, and end our turn. This is still quite disruptive if the opponent is able to special summon, because we're going to link off of the special summon. That gets rid of that. Little Knight will banish, and Little Knight will banish. So it's about 3 disruptions. If everything goes perfectly, it's now 0. Dark Ruler, no more, negate. D-Shifter and a Dark Ruler, purely with D-Shifter. Lily can't exceed with the graveyard if you have nothing in the grave because you D-Shiftered. Okay. Purely off the top of the deck, come to me, my friend Purely, which we're going to reveal 3 cards from the deck to randomly grab one of those 3. Happy, happy, happy. Triple happy. That is the way. As we now turn into a super happy Purely. Happiness is here. This will be 4 attacks, up to 4. So Soul Rate, and it can only attack into monsters. This would trigger the Yama if it were in the graveyard, and we wish that they would trigger it because we would be able to attack again. Otherwise, at the end of the damage step, we get to search our deck for something like a Purely Leap. And let's go. We could leap the Happiness into an Expelliarmus to spin 1 card. I mean, that's not really good. We may just want to turn into a simple monster negate. Give Ash Blossom negating the effect of Nightmare Pain, popping a card to search our deck. We do not want the Yubel cards to be triggering here. On the summon of the Dark Beckoning Beast, not even activating on summon, we're going right into the Expelliarmus. Expelliarmus with the ability to spin just once. 1 spin. Well, I mean, let's think about this, right? We have a Spirit Gates banished, Spirit Gates in the field, summon DBB, did not activate, so we know the other one's in the hand, right? Everyone's playing 3, but does that even matter? How do you get to use the second effect of Spirit Gates if you can't get a body in the graveyard and the Nightmare Pain was negated? So does this even matter? Was spinning the monster absolutely the correct play? Looks to be so. Very well done. My friend Purely reveal 3 quick play spells, randomly grab the guaranteed 3 of the same that we revealed into a Droll Lockbird, which is pretty good against Purely Happy, which during the battle phase it gets to continually search after battling. We're going to Pretty Memory, discard special summon a Purely. It can't trigger because of the Droll. We're going to equip from the graveyard the Pretty. The Expelliarmus is gone in the end phase, so we got to turn it into a Zeus. What do you think? We Zeusing? So we have a Monster Negate plus a potential Zeus. Or Little Knight instead banishing the Nightmare Pain. That works out. Nightmare Pain, most people do play more than 1 copy at just 2. So do expect that. We have the Pot of P digging deep. 6 cards deep, 7 cards left in our extra deck. D-Lotus will get negated by the Beauty. Okay, that is a problem. But if you negate it, you then make an Almirage, you then discard to reborn it, you then activate it again. It dodges the Little Knight, summon the Spirit of Yubel, grab another Nightmare Pain. You could chain Banish Spirit in response to the Little Knight activating. I guess that's the line of what we're doing. Or just Dark Beckoning. So there we go. So someone may be thinking, why not negate the Dark Beckoning from the additional summon? That would not be a good idea because the Dark Beckoning would then just be Almiraged, and then we could discard the D-Lotus, reborn D-Lotus. To battle we go, big enough to take out that Little Knight. We didn't activate Lord of Yama because isn't Shavara banished? Oh my gosh. Adding Shavara to discard D-Lotus would have been incredible if it weren't for the shifter banishing our Shavara earlier within the game. We are returning with the Purely Leap, 3 monsters in our graveyard back into the deck. We have no way to chain link block the Delicious Memory, potentially making the Lord of Yama indestructible by battle. We did not do so. Yep, okay, it shows in the dual log correctly that we didn't do that. We have the Lily grabbing the field spell. Now our newly special summon Purely's, the turn they are special summoned, cannot be targeted. Purely, Happiness is here. Suck it up. And now to battle we go. We're going to Suicide into the Yama. Trigger, my friend, trigger the field spell, trigger the Happiness. You're going to summon one, add up to 3 cards in the grave. It's like 5 cards right now. Yep. If we have 3 different quick plays in the graveyard, which we only have 1. So instead of 5, it's add 3. Summon 1, add 2. Purely from the deck, off the top of the deck, come to me. One of these spells here, we have the Sleepy Memory. And we should be playing more than 1 Purely Leap to help set up within main phase 2. Why is Gia posting my nudes on the website? What, Gia? Beauty is going to suck up a card on the field. We're going to chain to the Sleepy Memory, equipping onto the Beauty, giving us a 5th material to then X Purely Nor overlay on top of that Beauty. And then I think we lose. So the 5-0 sweep, the dream is dead. It looks like we ain't sweeping. As we make an X Purely Nor. X Purely Nor with the ability to suck up again. We have 3 spins. We're unaffected from activate effects, and we have another monster negate. Yeah, 4 disruptions to Ray having nothing. Nothing in the hand, nothing in the fields, nothing too relevant in the graveyard that you can't turn into a Phantom of Yubel here. We now have 4 spins plus the negates. We have 5 disruptions. X Purely, draw 1, draw 2. Don't mind me, just Pot of Greeting. We're going to D-Lotus, spin that back into the deck. This will confirm if players are allowed to surrender. Not surrendering. Maybe they disabled the surrender button in game.
They're trying to push it. Not working.
Right? They're pushing surrender, it's disabled. I think so. They probably did that. Very well done. Discard Nibiru for our Diablo Star. Let's speed up in case there's no disruption. And we got a disruption right away. Valor negate Diablo Star as the crossout designate negates that effect, Valor mate. I do not think so. This actually worked out quite well. The Flameburst was supposed to summon Masquerena from the back row. Cam held on to that ogre for a very long time. Wild. We do have Promethean to pop. We do have Garunix to non-target pop with Kirin. So we have at least 2 disruptions, but we lost out on that Masquerena. We now have Phantom of Yubel to negate Promethean, which turns on the Garunix. So do we have nothing? Heat Soul, activate, draw 1. Did you, you drew that and then used it? I don't think that really just happened. You did not draw Activate Valor off the top of your deck. Kirin, get popping the Heat Soul, which will trigger the Garunix. Come forth and summon. Pop from the deck a Kirin, trigger the Kirin, reborn from the hand or the graveyard. We now have the Arvata Monster Negate and Promethean Princess. We are back on. Little Knight on summon, target to banish, Arvata negates. And by negating with Arvata, you can't Promethean. So we put ourselves in this situation where you either have to Promethean and get banished, or pass on Promethean, use Arvata to negate. Negate we did. We still have that Promethean. Volcanics being destroyed, summoning from the deck a Garunix. We're going to use the Spirit Gates, discard the Chaos Summoning to Reborn D Lotus, popping it with the Promethean Princess. Come forth. Now what? Oh my gosh. We got clapped up. I think that's the 5-1 victory. Ryan for the win, going into a 5-1 Promethean, reborning that Flame Burge, and to battle we go. 12,000 damage on the field, just like that. Nothing to trigger in the graveyard like a Yama. 5-1. Now, is round 4 starting soon? Where's round 4? So, we are going to Josh's team to check out round 4. Are you ready? Josh going first. Oh my gosh. I feel like he keeps on going first. Is that just me? Bonfire, Ash Blossom, negate that Bonfire. Damn. Is that the end for Josh, or is he going to follow up normal summon a limited to 1 Ash? 1 for 1. Discard Garunic, summon the Ash. Do we have Impermer Veiler? Nope. That was a big Impermer Veiler check, even with Kieran being at 3 here. We're going to trigger the Poplar, summon itself onto the field, searching our deck for the Divine Temple. Looks like we're safe to speed this up. And, you know, it really just comes down to something as small as that. Having a follow-up for their Disruption, which was supposed to stop your entire turn, and then you just win. That's it. Move on to the next game, but they're not allowed to surrender. Reborn, the Flame Burst, push the Masquerena into the back row, and blow Whale, and the turn here. We have Garunix non-target pop through the Karen. We have Promethean pop. We have Amble Whale pop. We have Masquerena link into a link. We have about 5 Disruption. Bonfire, add Poplar. Trigger the Poplar. Come forth. Trigger the field spell. Reborn from our back row Masquerena as we chain Max C. Ash, negate that, because we would summon Masquerena, we would summon off of the Masquerena, we would summon Promethean, we would summon Garunix, we would summon through the Kieran. We were going to have them draw at least 5 cards. Not good. A very important negate. So I want you to understand. The opponent activated Bonfire and we held Ash. We said, nope, not negating that. I mean, we have an established field, so the situation is different where maybe he would have Ashed the Bonfire had Stellar gone first, but instead we had that Ash for something more important, and that more important card definitely came up. This is the 5 Disruption that Josh has. Masquerena into Flame Burst, reborn from our back row. So we do not want the Poplar to link off. We want to banish it with a Little Knight. So Little Knight, target banish. We're now down to 4 Disruption. Flame Burst, reborn from the graveyard. It's very important to activate your Masquerena before your Promethean Princess, because Promethean will lock you into fire only. Ash activate for the follow-up, Poplar activate for the follow-up. We could add a Poplar, then summon it onto the field if we want to, as we grab an original Sinful. Chia not during the tournament. Grabbing a Ponix, which could special summon itself onto the field if a fire monster is destroyed. We're going to discard to summon Diablo-Star, triggering Promethean to pop Poplar and the Diablo-Star with 3 Disruptions left. Poplar trigger, equip the Flame Burst into the back row, and we are now live. Live in round 4. Josh's team overall is down a round. So I think that Josh's team needs to win this round and next round to make it to day 2. If they lose this round by the opposing team getting 5 points on screen, they may not be seeing a day 2. And there's only one more round after this. Otta P digging for that triple tactics talent. We can take control, draw 2, look at the hand. What are we doing? We're taking control. And control we are taking with Stellar. Yoink onto the Little Knights. We're now down to 2 Disruption. We have Garunix and the Amble Whale pop. Send that Little Knight to summon from the deck. Now, the conditions of our Disruptions are a Link 3 has to be popped while Amble Whale's in the graveyard. We have a Secret Veiler from the hand. Just like that, negate the Snake Eye Ash. That should completely end this duel. Thus, Josh is winning this. Yup, end the turn, not doing anything from there. So clean this up, and the quicker Josh wins, the quicker Josh could coach his teammates, because that's how the tournament works, where all 3 teammates can together talk to each other on what to do and what to play. So straight to the battle phase, no nonsense, just finish it up. I'm wondering if there's an anti-BM clause in the contracts for Worlds, possibly, because they're not allowed to surrender or the surrender button is disabled. Good job. 4 more wins, and they are this much closer to making it to day 2. We're going with Centurion. Imperm onto the Trudea. Do we have a follow-up field spell? Do we have a follow-up Emblema Oath? That's going to be important here. We have Lubellion. Sure. So we can make a Chaos Angel, but not with a light monster. That's going to not be as good. Almirage to get the Trudea into the graveyard. Magna Hut, banishing Trudea, chain the Max C to that Magna Hut play. Now we're in a situation where we probably don't want to summon Bestial Lubellion onto the field under Max C. Do we just search for Bestial Pass? We don't care. We're going for that Bestial Lubellion, even though we're under Max C, giving that additional draw. Bestial into, in effect, Veiler. Back-to-back hand traps. We're dealing with Imperm, Max C, Veiler. So let's see how resilient Centurion really is. As we set a single back row, searching for a Durastorm in the end phase, will Bestial even be a relevant card to use against whatever they're playing? Voiceless. And Bestials are great against Voiceless. We could banish Saphira, but not now. There has to be a monster on the fields. We could banish Low. So if they tribute Low, we're also maxing. No Gamma. No Gamma, right? No Ash, no Finger, no Crossout, no Gamma, nothing. It's fair. You maxed me, I maxi you. We're going to tribute the Sarvis to summon the Skull Guardian, searching for a Low from the deck if we don't already have one in the hand to normal summon. Veiler negates. Now, we could have a Sarvis ritual in the hand. No, we do not, but the Sarvis that we tributed could have been used to negate that Veiler. So what are the other 3 cards in our hand? Did not normal summon Low. So we really don't have Low? We're ending our turn? Maybe this is another Max C. We have to have another Max. It can't be Ash because we would have Ashed the Max C. Durastorm banishing after resolving the regain to make sure it resolves first so that we could return the banish card back in the deck to draw 1. Normal summon Trudea. No Max? What is your hand? You tributed the Ritual Sarvis, which would have protected you from the Veiler, and then these other 3 cards are not hand traps? This makes no sense. You ended with an open normal summon. Legacia, wipe out the Skull Guardian. Now, it's important that we didn't activate the Legacia because we didn't want to trigger the Prayers of the Voiceless to summon a Skull Guardian from the deck. Is that even a big deal? I mean, there's no Low in the graveyard to even trigger anyway. Blessing of the Voiceless, which we are now going to pop off with our back row Centurions. Why activate them on separate chain links? Well, if you activate both in the same chain, they could chain Max C. And then they get to draw even more cards than they should have, if that's what you want to do. Instead, we're going into Chaos Angel with the Durastorm, and it has been used with a light monster, so the Chaos Angel is not only giving itself activation protection from monster effects, but even the Legacia. All synchros are unaffected from monster effects. Legacia setting up into the back row Primera. And that's it. Let's go. We're going to be hopping into the next match. Emre taking a victory within the first set. Josh's team just needs 3 more wins. We have Keeper of Dragon Magic on summon, discarding the Branded Sword to grab that Branded Fusion. No Ash Blossom in sight. Where's your Ash? Where's your Imperm? Where's your Veiler? Where's your Max C? Nada. Let's speed this up. Rebellion Searing, thank you very much. I'll keep this over here for now. Mirror, Jade. We're going to tribute off the Albion for a Bestial Lubellion, setting up the Branded Lost, as we then banish Lubellion with the non-negated Mirror Jade, because it looks like we plan on, with the Mirror Jade, getting it into the graveyard through possibly Fusion Summoning with it, to then use the Quem to reborn it back onto the fields. Branded Red would banish it. Branded Banishment would also banish it, that is. So Cartesia is one of the main ways, if we can get Cartesia on the field, to fuse with Mirror Jade to then reborn it with Quem. There we go. That's it. I like to think of this as the Triforce. If you have the Cartesia, Quem, and Mirror Jade, you are sitting pretty. Use the Mirror Jade with another monster. Ideally, you're going to be able to make a Dragostapelia off of it. Otherwise, you could fuse with the Cartesia, Quem, Reborn, Mirror Jade, and then you have your non-target monster banish active again. Rhino Hearts, we're going to Cartesia. Because we're chain link 2ing our fusion effect to fusion summon, the Branded Lost will miss the timing on giving you protection in response to the fusion summon. But you still get to search for a Mercurier, which will be a monster negate. Alrighty. Using with the hand to make that Dragostapelia. What did I say? That's the ideal summon. Sending the Tearlament Kashtira. Using the Quem to reborn the Mirror Jade, which will be activatable again. And searching our deck for Mercurier. So we're going to have non-target monster banish, plus negate a monster on the field, plus monster negate with Mercurier, plus the Branded in red in our back row. And I think we got something else in the other back row. That should be a disruption. Can we send Rinbrum, Reborn Albaz? We could send Rinbrum, Reborn Albaz for another form of disruption. So we have about 4 to 5 disruption, maybe 6. We have Rhino Heart on the field here, reinforcing the army. All 3 Rhinos are here in ready. Sure. Sharon possibly discarding that Rhino. Nope, getting a Mudora into the graveyard, which will now disrupt that Branded in red play. We're going to draw 2 instead of taking control of a monster here. Destrudo, Reborn. If you don't disrupt this right here, right now, the Psychic and Punisher is going to be unaffected from everything as long as your life points are lower than your opponent. So, we got to do something. Possibly. That's exactly what we're doing. Banishing Destrudo. Exceeding into Dugaris, which could reborn or draw 2. What do? We draw 2. Dragostapelia says no. You ain't drawing 2, then discarding, which could trigger something like a Hovness in hand, or get a Triva Karma from the hand into the graveyard. We now have King Sark. After all of that, discard Fairy Tale Snow, send a Happy from the deck. We're now going to use Branded in red, but the Mudora is going to stop it, as I said. Instead of making a Guardian Chimera to pop multiple cards in the field, we got Mercurier to negate. I don't think so, mate. We are going through Chain Maxi, so we're at least going to draw just 1. We're going to Rinbrum, Reborn from the graveyard Albaz, which can attempt to fuse with the opponent's fields. Now, we already have the Mirror Jade, so we can't summon a second copy, unfortunately, with the Dugarius. And we don't have a card to discard anyway. So, okay, we're going to add that. We're not discarding that. We're going to fuse with it for a Guardian Chimera. No! We passed on the fusion effect of Branded in red. We're now chain link wanting the Albaz to fuse with the Sharon. Now, think about this. Sharon is being sent to the graveyard by card effects, which it then triggers to fusion summon, but the fusion summons on chain link 1 and there's a Branded loss, so she actually can't activate in response to a fusion summon. It ain't happening. No fusion summon. Very well done. Holy moly. I'm SETI discarding from the hand to add a King Sark and draw an additional card here. Well, now, Reborn the Happy, Reborn the I'm SETI, Exceed Shokan into Zombie Vampire. We have another attempt to mill a Sharon. No, we don't. Yes, we do. What did you send? You sent a monster? So what we would have to do is if we have a quick play card, like let's say a spell, we could chain the spell, then chain the Fairy Tale Snow to banish the Zombie Vampire from being negated by the Droplet. I don't think we have anything to chain to the Droplet to make that play with, unfortunately. So the negate does go through. We have 14 cards in the graveyard with that Fairy Tale Snow. We got a Heartbeat. That would be an example of something we could do. Banishing 7 to come forth and summon Fairy Tale Snow. This is likely a Little Knight play. We're going to flip down that Mirror Jade, and Little Knight it is. Little Knight on summon, banishing a card on the field or in the graveyard, taking out the Grand Granole from grave. That's quite interesting. We are too small for a Zombie Vampire, but we're going to be making a Zeus. Zeus can activate to wipe out the entire field, send everything to the graveyard. Damn. Zeus is nuts. Triggering Crime to add back a banished Tearlament. And is this the end? We have Cartesia adding back within the end phase, Brand High Spirits adding back within the end phase, and what is this? We are going to Branded in High Spirits, reveal the Cartesia, get into the graveyard the Grand Granole, the second copy as you banish the first one, grabbing an Albion. We're now going to Albion, send from the deck, draw a card here, And as the Retribution adds back the Branded Fusion. Are we screwed? Is this the end? Are you ready? Branded Fusion, sent from the deck a Jowgen. We got the Jowgen lock with Sanctifier, possibly, making an Albion. We're going to chain the Branded Sword to add back a Rinbrum into our extra deck. As we banish the Albion from the graveyard plus the Albaz to make our Borreload Furious Dragon. All we have to do is 4,000 damage, grass looking green, milling a ton of cards off the top of the deck. Holy moly. What do we have here? We have an Aliber being added to the hand through the effect of the Tragedy being sent. We are using up our normal summon on the Aliber, grabbing a Brandon White, which could use the graveyard to fusion summon. As we fuse with the graveyard, Albaz and Quem into the untargetable Sanctifier Dragon. To battle we go. We are going to take out the Aliber and the Zeus, but we have Fairy Tale Snow, which could flip down the Borreload or the Albion, stopping lethal damage. That's going to trigger the Grangrenol, though. Grangrenol will be summoning a monster from the deck or extra deck as we flip down that Borreload. We still have game, don't we? No. The Fairy Tale Snow will banish the other 6 cards in the graveyard, plus a 7th from the hand. I mean, it may as well be game, right? If we have to Fairy Tale Snow banish from the hand. 1 from the hand, goodbye to King Sark. The entire graveyard is banished. Fairy Tale Snow, flipping down the Caritis, and just like that, we have survived with just Fairy Tale Snow left in the grave with 1 card in our hand as we are about to top deck into something, hopefully very good. We have a banished Sharon. We have just Sharon banished. We still have Havnis and Sharon in the deck. Rhinoheart, send for the deck Havnis. It's Jowgen time. We're going to drop plate. No way. Untargetable Sanctifier. Setting up the Jowgen, which would stop the Sharon from fusion summoning. You would think it's unstoppable. And we had 1 card in our hand. So I don't know, did we top deck the Droplet or top deck the Rhino? Whatever we did, it was perfect. If Quantal wins this, I can't handle this. Kid Cow searching for the deck, a Grief. Grief will summon from the graveyard or from the deck, sending the Kid Cow to the graveyard, triggering the Kid Cow to mill 5. 5 milled into a Triva Karma, banished to grab a Tearlament Spell or Trap, which will be our Tearlament Scream. Set up the Tearlament Scream. If we summon Fairy Tale Snow, that will trigger the Scream to mill 3. Oh boy, we just banished our own Kid Cow. That's a problem. Mill 3 into a Keldo, Xyz into Baguska. Are you really stalling out this duel? There's no way. Does Branded have a good out to Baguska outside of Super Poly if they even play it? I don't think so. A 60-card deck Branded, they're not going to be playing cards like Impermanence very likely. We have Cartesia, special summon itself onto the field, ending the turn. We have to wait for the Baguska to just naturally detach all of its materials before we could go in. Foolish Burial good, sending from the deck a screen. We have 8 cards left in our deck. We gotta be running out of juice soon. Meta Noise we could set from the banishment pile. Kikal is gone. 3 Rhinos are all gone. A Sharon is gone. So it's not possible to make a Kaleido Heart in this current deck list. And we also can't make a Rukalos. So what do? There's nothing to do. He's just not allowed to surrender. Tragedy, recycling a Branded Spell card in the Spell or Trap that is from the graveyard, sending it back onto the field, and just like that, Baguska is no more. Get that Baguska out of here. Foolish Burial for our final play, sending Havnis. Not even triggering because, we had nothing to summon. What do we summon? There's nothing to summon. Everything in attack position, 12K for game. Unfortunately, Quantal is not giving the team a 3-0 for the first set. Taking this into the second set, that's fine. 5 wins is all it takes to win out the round. Let's go. Now, for their other duels, we can't watch them because they're not happening yet. I don't know if, what's up with that? I mean, they have a bathroom break coming back. That means we could go on over to Jesse to see what's going on over there. $2,400, 3 negates. So 3 negate, 4 negate, 5 pop, and then we have Promethean pop and Garunix pop. We have about 7 disruptions. Yep. And, That's it. 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. King Sark discarding Mudora, which will greatly disrupt those disruptions as the Kirin pops the Amble Whale, triggering Garunix and the Amble Whale to reborn the Masquerena. Or not. Well, it would have been negated by Arvata anyway. And I'm wrong. It's not 7 disruptions. It's 9. The Masquerena will go into a Little Knight into another Little Knight banish. That is 9 disruptions with this setup. Potentially 10 if he plays Hyang. Garunix is going to be popping the King Sark. Masquerena is going to Little Knight banish a card from the graveyard. Do we take out the Dumatef or force out the Mudora? Pop in the Kirin. Goodbye for the Mudora. As I said, Kirin is going to be reborning. Mudora is going to try to return that Kirin or the other Fire Kings that is back into the deck so you don't reborn them. Apollo's simply going to negate. Pre-negate. Easily negating. With 9 disruptions, you could pretty much just say a yes to anything that's activating. You'll be fine. Goodbye to King Sark. Onyx trigger to grab a Skyburn to be used during the next turn. I don't think we'll need it. Foolish Burial Goods sending the bridge from the deck to the graveyard. Banish the bridge. Come to us. Crystal Beast and a field spell. Walls of the Imperial Tomb. Not the tier limit field spell. With the walls, we could reborn the Dumatef, triggering the Promethean Princess, taking out the Arvata and the Dumatef. Come forth. Now, what else do we have here? We still have Little Knight Banish, Apollo Negates, Apollo Negate. We have triple disruption plus the Amble Whale if a link 3 or lower is destroyed. So about 4 disruption. Seti discarding the Triva Karma to get negated. 3 disruptions left. Apollo, Little Knight, and Amble Whale. Amble Whale is super conditional, likely not going to happen. So 2 solid disruptions. 1 solid disruption on the Little Knight. That's it. All we have is Little Knight and maybe an Amble Whale. Oh, we have not normal summoned yet. How did Jesse eat through 8 disruptions? We had 9, and now we have 1. It was like 7 disruptions we ate through. Holy moly! Seamare on summon send from the deck of Havnis. What is this, like a raid boss? Did we enrage Jesse? We're in phase 3. What is this? Kit Cow on summon, trigger the field spell, wiping out the Sanctuary, Little Knight banish, and that's it. We have nothing left but Amble Whale, which is requiring the Promethean for some reason to be destroyed. I don't think she will. So we pretty much have nothing left. So to be fair, we had 8 disruption. Oh, this will trigger the Amble Whale. Okay, goodbye to the field spell. Now Amble Whale. All 9 disruptions have been used. And our field's gone somehow. What? Full gas tier limit? Did we use any board breakers? I don't remember it. Did we use a triple tactics talent or something? I don't think so. I think we just full in-engine gassed our way through 9 disruptions, and we broke it. Dweller turning off their graveyard completely. We're gonna be Wanted Seeker off the top of the deck, searching for a Diablo Star. Sending the Skyburn, which is dead. To battle we go. Goodbye to the Dweller. Not big enough with the Little Knight to take out anything, so we're gonna main phase 2 it up into a second copy of Promethean. Now, Promethean does not target, so you want to be just popping it before it even activates with your field spell. Why not? By shuffling your tier limit back in the deck, boom. And an unbelievable duel. This duel should honestly, if you're a tier limit player or you're an aspiring one, I think you should save this duel. 9 disruption, used all 9 disruptions, and we broke the field. Yeah, it was only 8. Cast here, field spell, grabbing the Fenrir. Unfortunately, we didn't mill into a Root Kalos play, which is what we were hoping for. What is the math on that? 36 cards, 2 Sharon in the deck. I could look it up maybe after this duel on were those chances worth it? Main phase we go. Bonfire, come to me, Snake Eye Ash. Ash on summon, activating. We're not going to Baron to floor, but maybe we're going to Fenrir here. Did not Fenrir. Are we really playing around Triple Tactics talent? Within the battle phase, we're going to Meta Noise, flip down the Snake Eye Ash, sending a Hovness, triggering Hovness to now fuse into a Rukalos. Special Summon Negate, Omni Negate, Fenrir Banish after the resolution of a monster effect. Just like that, get that Kieran out of here. Trigger the Ponix to come forth and summon. Nothing, because you're going to get negated and destroyed. Now, what else do we have in the graveyard? Do we have a Fairy Tale Snow? We do not. Banished face down. Oh my goodness. Goodbye to that Kieran. There are two more where that came from. Ponix add back. After the turn, it was destroyed, but it's not going to be turning into anything crazy here. Replace the field spell with a limited of one top-decked tier limit field spell as we grab a Rhino to send from the deck a Hovness. Hovness is now going to trigger its effect to Fusion Shokan into Kit Cal. Kit Cal and the field spell here, popping that face-down monster with 13,000 damage on the field. Fenrir is not even joining the fight yet as we grab a tier limit Scream from the deck. Ponix gonna trigger, come forth and summon. Rukal again. How many times do I have to show you? Stop trying to summon. Negated and destroyed, sending Kit Cal to trigger to mill 5. Now we're only at 10,000 damage. We did mill the Sharon this time, as we also have the Scream to search our deck for a trap that we definitely do not need. Looks like we're summoning Kaleido. Yep, Kaleido's coming. Kaleido Heart is needed. Dragos Depelia would have also worked. Fenrir searching our deck for a tier limit Kashtira. And just like that, 14,000 damage. Tier limit 1 the first game, tier limit 1 the second game. That's it. You can't have tier limit again because both players, both teams used their tier limit decks. So the third game is definitively no tier if you're sick of tier. Ray is going first, and our set pass. There better be Max C in this hand. Piri Reese map, searching for a Yubel Terra Incarnate to go straight into a Phantom of Yubel. So if you're waiting on your Max C, it's now too late. As we follow up with the Spirit Gate, searching our deck for a Dark Beckoning Beast. Let's speed this up. Do we really have nothing? DBB, grabbing the Chaos Summoning, additional summon, D-Lotus, Ash, Phantom of Yubel, negate, no negate, okay, discard Spirit of Yubel, Reborn Spirit of Yubel. That's what we wanted to summon with the D-Lotus anyway. You have Nightmare Pain being set through the Spirit. Book of Eclipse. This can only destroy a face-up dark monster or a dark in the hand, so we now have to destroy a dark in the hand or destroy nothing. We got something. Chaos Summoning into the Grave Squirmer. We are going to be Fusion Summoning with the set Spirit of Yubel, summoning our Phantom of Yubel, activating the field spell to pop Spirit to summon from the deck a Yubel, as we now Squirmer, special summon, pop Yubel to special summon Terra Incarnate from the deck or grave. Further linking this up into Cross Sheep. We're going to summon the third copy of Phantom of Yubel. Does anyone feel that this is wrong? That maybe the Phantom of Yubel should be limited to 1? How are you summoning all 3 in 1 turn and we're all okay with that? We're going to be making our Lord of Yama searching for a Shavara. Now we're going to use Squirmer to Reborn from the Graveyard Yubel, pop that Yubel with the Shavara, trigger the field spell to return the Phantom of Yubel engraved back into the action deck so we could summon it a 4th time, by the way. Shavara setting up into the back row, Escape of the Unchained, as we now make an Apollo. Yeah! That's not Apollo. That gigantic, what? Maxi, wait, now you Maxi? Phantom of Yubel, negate. That's Ibli. Ibli luck. So instead of Apollo, we summon Ibli from the deck, just like that, making our Sprite Health trigger the Ibli, summon it onto the opposing field, and the Phantom of Yubel is going to be flipped back up within the end phase. Get flipping, get drawn, draw 2, and Phantom of Yubel. So I talked about this earlier. The main 3 ways to out the Ibli. Lingaribo, no one's playing it except Jesse apparently. The second option is by battle. Well, we can't swing into a monster to kill ourselves because there's a Nightmare Pain forcing us to attack into the 0 attack, 0 defense Phantom of Yubel. The third way is to normal summon, then link 2. But the Escape of the Unchained will pop the normal summon, thus all 3 ways are covered. Well, besides the random one of them having a Lingeriba, which they're likely not going to have. Thus the Ibly is, whoa, Harpy Feather Duster, ain't no way! You can't escape pop the normal summon. Now the Ibly can attack into a monster where it would destroy by battle. And it's very important because we cannot special summon except link monsters while this is face up on the field. Huge Harpy Feather Duster. I think we just don't have plays. Like, yeah, attack position, swing, free us from Ibly, but we don't have any, I mean, they still have Phantom, they still have Soul of Rage. You know, I would love to see Ray's Hand. Sprite Elf, reborning the Yama. 2, it does trigger even when not link summoned, even on special summon, adding back that Shivara. No normal. No, not even battle. Soul of Rage is here. At that point, keep your maxi for normal summon. Yeah, I guess, but you know, it wasn't just normal summon. We also got a battled. I don't think we had plays. Remember, Ray set 1 past turn 1. So what's Ray's hand? Something horrible. And just like that, I think to no fault of Ray whatsoever, Ray just had a really bad hand. As we now hop into the next game. Set 3 pass, Jesse with Tearlament. Tearlament, Super Juice Tearlament setting 3. So all your back row should only be usable if you control a Tearlament, right? His deck could brick. His deck could brick. His deck is not invincible. It's not perfectly made. There is a chance, and maybe a slight one, where it could actually brick. Let's speed this up. Dark Beckoning into the Chaos Summoning, into the Cross Sheep. We're going to Fusion Summon to where the Cross Sheep is pointing to Reborn from the Graveyard, the Dark Beckoning, as we now make a Little Knight to give up our direct attack to banish the set Call by the Grave to now finger that Dark Beckoning Beast. Special Squirmer to link off, I should say, Synchro into a Chaos Angel on summon, banishing the Droplet. Wow, the back row was mostly usable. We just didn't have a turn 1 play. Triva Karma's going to give us a play for the next turn, searching for a field spell or any Tearlament spell/trap we want. We are discarding to Reborn the Spirit of Yubel. We cannot attack directly since we did not, we didn't get the Little Knight negated. It did resolve, it did banish. We're going to grab the Squirmer, trigger Spirit of Yubel, summon a Yubel, link it all up into an Apollo USA. Triple monster negate with the Phantom of Yubel. So we have 4 monster negates. Okay, let's see if Jesse could do it with our Tearlament field spell. Off the top of the deck, we won't know as we activate the Tearlament field spell into grabbing our Sharon. Activate Sharon, it gets negated. So no mill 3, no discard by card effect, chain Hovness. Can't chain Apollo to the Hovness, so we have to use Phantom of Yubel to negate. Do we have to? Because it looks like we're not doing it. We didn't do it. Hovness will summon in mill 3. Well, we only milled a Scream, which will trigger to grab a trap. Not too big of a deal here. Unfortunately, the Hovness is a level 3, so the Sharon cannot make a Time Thief Redoer with it. We're giving up on our field spell before we're even able to trigger its effect to pop a card in the field. We're instead going to Imperial Tomb, search for an I'm Seti, returning a card back into the deck from our hand as we now make a Little Knight without banishment on summon. But the Little Knight pins the Apollo from negating if it weren't for the Phantom of Yubel, which we may have a Call by the Grave to finger. Will we have it? Activate, chain Little Knight, banish, and if this goes through, the I'm Seti will search and draw. Of course it doesn't go through. Phantom of Yubel negates the Little Knight. You will not be banishing the Apollo. Apollo will get reduced. You'll get negated. No add, no draw. This, I believe, is the end of Jesse. Or is it? Reborning a Dumatef. We're going to finger the I'm Seti before it reborns from the graveyard. Should we have reborned it first before the Dumatef? As we now make a Dark. Dark's going to steal a Dark monster from the opponent's graveyard, which will trigger the Chaos Angel on summon. So it's very important that we negate. Now, ideally, we attack over Apollo main phase 2 activate, but because of the Nightmare Pain, we can't make that very much needed play to then trigger the Chaos Angel to banish. We're forced to attack. We take double 1850, by the way. 1850, 1850. Oh my gosh. From 8K to 43. Ain't no way. Popping the Yubel, summoning a Terror Incarnate. And how many times we got to swing into this? Just 3 times and we win? We are going to Squirmer, Reborn, Spirit of Yubel. We just need 1 more Yubel, and it is over for Jesse. We have nothing hiding in the graveyard, no Fairy Tale Snow. Let's speed this up. Grabbing a Dark Beckoning Beast for the Spirit Gates, grabbing a Chaos Summoning, return from the hand, engrave, summon that Phantom of Yubel, and just like that, attack 1, attack 2, lethal damage. Jesse's team is struggling. Task, his team is doing incredibly well. So let's give them another win. They are at 3 wins. 3-1. 3-1. Task is beating up on Jesse's team so far. Ashing the Bonfire, sure. And let's see if we have any follow-up after that Bonfire negation. We are going to triple Tactics Talent, going for the draw too, so that is a form of desperation. As we now Volcanics. Volcanics is a good 1-card combo. And naturally, they want to chain Kieran to Volcanics, which means if you Valor or Imperm the Volcanics when they already want to Kieran it, that's a big minus. Well, you know, you just lose your 1 negate. Gotta be careful here. If the Amble's destroyed, it wants to reborn the Masquerena. But if we destroy it with Promethean, we can't reborn Masquerena since we're locked in a Fire Monsters only. But if that goes through, that is double disruption through Masquerena, a pop with the Amble Whale, a negate on the Apollo Mate, and then we have Promethean and the Garunix, which will be able to, through the Kieran, pop a card in the field. And do we have an Arvata in the graveyard? We do. So 9 disruptions. A lot of them are super conditional. Mirror match. Setting up the Fire King Island, popping the Volcanics, grabbing a Ponix, which will trigger both cards. Volcanics trigger. Can't chain link block like you can in the TCG, so that is unfortunate there. The Ponix will be on the higher chain link. There's no way to chain link block from the hand, ever. Outside the TCG, that is. Summon the Ponix. Ponix will trigger on summon. Negate it again. Just keep on negating. Negate. We're not going to be able to add a Skyburn as we now follow up the Ash. Our 3rd negate. So what? We had 9 disruption. Now we're down to 6. Keep on negating. We're going to Kieran, pop Amblo Whale, and what was I talking about? That was the way to pop the Amblo outside of using Promethean Princess. So now we get to summon the Masquerena, and Apollo can make a nice little knight. Nice little knight. As we have the Garunix, pop a Kieran, reborn the Arvata, pop a card in the fields. Holy moly. Come forth, little knight, maybe banishing the field spell here to then wipe out the opposing field. That is exactly what we're doing. Trigger the island, wipe it out. We all know that Fire King Snake Eyes is going to get hit by the next ban list, right? That's going to happen, right? And Yubel. I don't think Tyr. I think Tyr is safe, even though Tyr's doing incredibly well. My predictions are something will happen to Kieran, something will happen to Spirit Gates, and they may hit Phantom of Yubel or limit Nightmare Pain to 1. If they limit Nightmare Pain to 1 alongside Spirit Gates, if you Little Knight banish the Nightmare Pain, it's gone. Gone for good. They're not going to have a 2nd or 3rd copy. We have Field Spell popping on field, grabbing a Ponix, triggering the Garunix in graveyard and the Kieran, so double summon off of this and popping that Poplar. And we have a negate for any potential hand traps here that they likely are not going to have anything. It also, on the negate, does not destroy, so you wouldn't be triggering a Kieran on its activation. Promethean is here. Come forth. Is Kribo getting hit? Yes. Soon. Don't worry, my friend. I know you're struggling. Imperm negates the negate mate. Follow up Nibiru. No, we don't got it. And we are now, let's finish up this duel, please. Let's do it. That's going to be 4-1. 4-1. Task, his team is clapping it up. 10 1,000 damage. Oh my. I think if Jesse's team loses this, they may not make it to day 2. I think it may come down a tiebreaker, even if they win the next round. So they can't afford to lose a single duel, or their chances of making a day 2 may get slashed. We'll see. Can't lose this. You lose, it is over. We get to go first. Not Ash, but Max C. We have Gamma, Ash, Finger, Crossout, nothing. Now, Crossout, I think, is one of the biggest cards hit for today's event because no one is going to put it among their 3 cards shared. That means among all the different teams, only one player could play that one Crossout designate. Troll in Lockbird, we're locking down the Max C. Just like that. We don't plan on adding any more cards from our own deck to our hand. Incredible. So now the Droll and Lockbird on the screen is going to keep on spamming. Making a Lord of Yama. We can't add from the deck Shavara. We locked ourselves out of it. So we made that calculated risk as we now make a Soul of Rage with no Escape of the Unchained. Return from the grave into a Phantom of Yubel, and I think that worked out quite well. You have a Negate plus Link Off into Lil Knight, so we have about 3 to 4 disruptions. You don't know what that back row card is. It could be a bluff. I'm setting. We could finger it or negate it with the Phantom of Yubel, even better. If you fingered it, Keldo would dodge the finger. Now we have Soul of Rage into Lil Knight, Spirit Summon a Yubel from the deck. Tier Limit Field Spell, come to us, Tier Limit Kashtira. We're going to Tier Limit Scream into a grass looking green. It wasn't that big of a mill. Triggering the Hobness and the Scream, and now we're gonna hit you with that Max freaking C. No negate, nothing to it, mate. We're gonna get adding with the Crime after the Scream has been milled as we now go into Kick Cow. I've been saying this a lot today. If you use the effect to special summon and affect the special summon, so Root Cow's gonna negate this, linking off with Kick Cow will not mill 5. So this could be a good play. Uh-oh, Tier Limit Field Spell, pop of the Nightmare Pain. We're going to Imperm negate the Kick Cow instead of linking off with it. Very well done. No search. And we may very well not have a good way to get the Kick Cow into the graveyard to get that mill 5 play. We're doing it. Link it off into Little Knight. Little Knight on summon, banish a card from the field or graveyard, taking out Kick Cow banished. Now, Crime, if sent to the graveyard, will trigger to add the Kick Cow back, so it's not gone for good. We have Rhino Heart sending a card from the deck to the graveyard. Little Knight does not negate. We're going to mill 2 with Tier Cash. Just like that, within the end of the main phase, we're going to pop the Yubel, chain the Keldo, spinning the Yama back, so the Yama does not trigger, reborning the Soul of Rage back onto the field. Sure. Goodbye, trigger Yubel, summon a Terror Incarnate. We're locked into Fiend-type monsters only, as long as Shavara's face up on the field. To battle, we go Suiciding Shavara to set an escape from the deck. As we follow up 1600, the Terror Incarnate will destroy the Little Knight if we don't get it off the field here, as we are not doing so with the Squirmer. Making a Yama. Yama was returned back in the action deck through the opponent's Keldo. Thank you very much. As we add the Shavara Engrave back to the hand. Squirmer, banish, reborning D-Lotus, summon a Spirit from the deck since you returned all of them back into the deck. Nightmare Pain, get popping here. Nightmare Pain triggering the Spirit to summon a Yubel as we grab a D-Lotus from the deck here. We have not used up our normal summon yet, as we now make a Nightmare Phoenix co-linked with the Little Knight, so we're going to pop and draw. This is looking good for Ray. I think Ray's not going to lose. We're going to be popping the Nightmare Phoenix, which happens to be a Fiend, triggering Yama to reborn the Soul of Rage, return from the grave, summon a Phantom of Yubel, 5,400 damage, but we can't attack directly. We could link off with, so this is Fiend locking us. So Soul of Rage, if we have another Little Knight, is not going to be summonable. We are pot of upstarting the Shadow Beast to draw 1 with our Foolish Burial. We're going to turn it into the effect to destroy Yubel instead. Summon from the deck, Yubel, ending our turn. We were really desperate with that foolish barrel on Shadow Beast. Spirit Gates, we don't have enough damage for lethal. Let's set it up. Searching for the Dark Beckoning. Dark Beckoning, come to us. Our other copy of Spirit Gates. Link this up into Lord of Yama. And just like that, enough for lethal damage. Thus, Jesse's team is not knocked out from round 4. It's not an actual knockout. They are playing Swiss. 2-4. One loss, and Jesse, I think their team will be X2. We have at least Crime to negate anything. Baron to floor, negate anything. Little Knight is going to chain banish. Do we have a Kaldo or a Mudora? We don't. So that's a really good thing for the tier limit mirror match. And this is a tier mirror match. The other card, I don't know what it is. Who knows what it is? Opening up with the Rhino Heart, send from the deck a Hovness to trigger the fusion effect. We're not going to negate with Baron, nor the Crime, as the Kick Cal is now summoned. Unfortunately, Kick Cal is not going to get crimed. I thought Crime would maybe be a good time to just return that fool back into the extra deck. We're going to instead banish it, adding a tier limit cash tier off of that. We're going to Grief, summon for the deck, a Rhino. Rhino is going to trigger in the graveyard as we chain tier limit cash tier to banish the Grief, and we may have no other tier card in the hand to send with the Rhino. Everyone's abusing this play. So it's an illegal activation unless you have a card that's discardable, and the only discardable card was the tier limit cash tier, which you chain to the effect of Rhino to summon. Now we're criming. Crime is going to be negating and shuffling the Destrudo back in the deck. Now, we just have Baron to floor. Left Arm Offering. We are negating. We're not even waiting for the card that we can add to then negate that card. No. Left Arm, negated. Ending our turn. Kick Cal back in the field. Kaldo to trigger the field spell. Returning at least one of our own tiers back in the deck. Field spell, wiping out our own Kaleido Heart. Reborn Kaleido, spin a card on the field back in the deck, plus sending a Sullik from the deck to the grave to search our deck and say goodbye to Kick Cal. I don't know. I think this is it. I mean, Jesse's great, but this is the end for Jesse's team. That's going to be a 5-2 victory. Yeah, let's speed this up, and then we're going to head on over to Josh's team. And let me confirm that Jesse's team is now X2. I mean, this should be the end, right? What the heck could happen? You can't disconnect at Worlds unless you're Duel Links. That's what's been happening. We're going to pop the Rhino. Rhino's banished since it was summoned through its own effect. Open field, 10k damage. And using interesting cards like the Vicious Astrolabe, using the Vsauce. Definitely not standard. How's Josh's team doing? Josh, right now, is X1. His team. If he loses this round, I mean, he's up. It's 2-1 right now. If he wins, he still has to win round 5 to guarantee day 2. If he loses this round, even if he wins round 5, there's a chance he does not make day 2. But otherwise, I mean, this is very important. The next 2 rounds, this and the next round are very important. Alrighty, let's go. Trudea opening this up. Trudea putting itself in the back row to summon a Primea from the back row to then special summon itself onto the field, searching for a stand-up Centurion, which will discard a card from the hand to set up a card into the back row, likely a Gargoyle. There's the Gargoyle. Bestial Lubellion, discarding to search our deck for a Bestial Magna Hut. We are now Gargoyle special summoning itself onto the field, sending it to the graveyard to special summon our Bestial Lubellion. With the Bestial Lubellion, we are setting up a branded regain. If a light or dark monster is banished from either player, we will be drawing 1 by returning it back in the deck. Auxilla on summon, activating to search our deck for the Phalanx. And, you know, it looks quite basic, and it is. We pretty much only have 2 disruption here. Magna Hut, triggering the regained, return back the Bestial Lubellion. We're going to have the Phalanx target a monster to banish. And then we're going to have an Omni negate through a Blazar Dragon. So, you know, we're used to all these duels with like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 disruptions. Centurion's 2. We got 2. But with the Bystials and all these tier limits running around, the Bystials should be quite good. Do you understand what this means? The opponent just said I end my main phase. Why would you end your main phase? That's evenly match. We have to blaze our dragon to negate that evenly match, and they could activate a second copy if they have it. Let's go. Get synchro summoning. There's no other way to make this play without them saying I end my main phase. Winky smiley face. Crimson Dragon. Chainlink block with the Primera. Crimson into Blazar within the battle phase. We could do that. Yep. Oh, we're getting even lead. Droplet negate. Uh-oh. We get Phalanx, banish Auxilla. Auxilla will come back special summon. It will trigger on special summon. That's the evenly. Oh my Jesus. We're gonna banish the Auxilla as I said. This is a situation. Everything banished face down except our regained. Grass looking green. Of course we have that Ash for that. Oh my Jesus. We almost milled 23 cards. Whoa. That would have been a game ender. We have Albion to randomly draw a card here. We could grab that branded fusion from the graveyard through the Retribution, and you used up your Ash. Our grass ate your Ash, and it's now time to branded fuse. Main phase 2, by the way, Jowgen. The Phalanx special summons in the standby phase. If the Sanctifier summons Jowgen in the draw phase, the Auxilla does not get to summon. And we have Regain triggering to reborn the Baldrake. We're going to Druid Swarm, banishing our Gargoyle in response to the Magna Hut trying to banish from our own graveyard. It ain't happening. Regain returning the Gargoyle back to draw. I mean, Regain is giving so much value, it's crazy. It does not activate the summon back, it's going to special summon. It doesn't return like Little Knight. A Jowgen will stop it from summoning. Is it worth it? Well, okay. Maybe he didn't know. Auxilla triggering to search our deck for a stand-up Centurion. Maybe we're going to save it for an Albaz play. Probably not. Centurion Bonds will chain. Put the Primera into the back row instead of being banished so your Magna Hut does not get summoned. But now it's discardable with Albaz. Battle phase. Reborn Albaz. What did I say? On summon, discard our Magna Hut. To fuse with nothing. Ghost Ogre completely stops Fallen of Albaz. No fusion summon. Damn. That was really good. Oh my gosh. How is Centurion this good? I can't believe Centurion is clapping up today's event with such minimal disruptions. It's just card advantage and not being heavily affected by Max C. Don't care about Max C. Insane card advantage. Very simple back and forth plays with just enough to survive the opponent's turn 2 to then just continually keep on plussing. And Centurion's going to be receiving a lot more new support soon. Even the TCG is missing out on Centurion support. We got Little Knight on summon, banishing from the graveyard Cartesia, so it does not come back during the end phase. Regain, returning it back in the deck to draw 1. We got dropleted and even lead. And I can't even tell that that actually happened. What the heck is going on? This is a Dispater if we play another Crimson Dragon. We didn't even summon. Nope. Let's get to it. That's it. It's the clause where we can't surrender. And is Centurion undefeated? Does anyone know? Has Centurion lost today? That is the 4th win. We tier lamented. And Josh is on Snake Eye Fire King or Labyrinth, which Josh has not whipped out Labyrinth yet for today's event. We are... What is this effect? The secret effect of Seamare. During your end phase, tribute to add a Hovness engrave back to the hand? So we have Hovness in response to a monster effect to mill 3. We have Tear Limit Cash Tier to summon to mill 3. We have Scream to mill another. That's mill 9 through Scream, Tier Cash, and Hovness without even getting to the other cards we have. We have triple negate on the Apollo USA and a special summon negate with Rukalos. And I'm sure we got some good disruption in the background. Let's see. Focus. Shouldn't the score be 1 and 3? It is 1 at the top, 4 at the bottom. Right? Isn't that correct? Is it not 1 and 3? You tell me. Snake Eye Ash. We are going to be negating with the Apollo USA. Negate. Now we're going to follow up with the Fire King. Now, Josh chose to not chain Kieran to the Ash, which would ensure that the Apollo would not be able to negate it within the same chain. So we're doing this purposely. We want the Apollo to negate it on purpose, right? 1 for 1, discarding Effect Veiler. Where was that last turn? As the Rukalos negates the 1 for 1. If the Rukalos sends herself, we're not. We're sending a Rhino Heart from the hand. We also have a Fairy Tale Snow in that graveyard, banishing 7 to get fingered. Finger the Fairy Tale Snow, which it could activate again if we had enough cards to banish, which would be banishing our field in hand. We do not want that, so we just let it happen. So we lose the Snow, and we also lose our Apollo USA 1 negate. So we had the Ash within the same way, the same attack level of the Apollo to make sure to swing into it. That's why we didn't chain the Kieran. And as I said, with the Tier Limit Cash Tira and the Screen, that's a mill 6, and we should still have a Hovness in the hand. I don't believe we discarded yet. We did not. Shadow Beast triggering, Sharon triggering, we have a Fusion Summon, and a Draw 1. We also have a Mudora. Mudora in the graveyard will be able to spin an opposing player's graveyard monster back into the deck if they try to make a play with that. The Kit Cal is adding a Sharon instead of milling it to then make something like a Dragostapelia. The main phase 1 we go. Josh, oh my gosh, there's only so much you could do. You went second. That's what you get for going second. You should do better with winning the coin flip, obviously. Return from the graveyard back to Shadow Winda. Let's add a Floodgate into the mix. Yeah, buddy. Wipe out his remaining life points, and just like that, it's 2 to 4. And someone in the chat was suspecting I have the scores incorrect by 1, so let me double check that as we are switching to the next game. Begin. 2 to 3. You need 5 points to win the round. Oh, Stellar. Yeah, I love Stellar's deck. This is Centurion Super Heavy Samurai. We're going to be grabbing from the deck our Soul Piercer. We're going to link off the attached 2 scales of the Piercer to make the Scarecrow. Triggering the Piercer to search our deck, but we are under max C. How much do we really want to do here? Motorbike discard. Yes, come to me as we now have our wagon. Is this the Centurion Super Heavy? Or maybe I'm mixing him up with another player. Chain Hovness to Special Summon Mill 3. We don't have a Maxi of our own. Deck out? No, I don't think Super Heavy could deck out a Maxi. I think Stellar is going for a deck out, though. This is a lot of special summoning. Are you out of your damn mind? We are desperately trying to trigger a Sharon. We only have 2 Sharons in the deck, possibly. Mill 3. Let's see. Nope. Ghost Mourner negate. I don't think so. You're stuck in this duel with me. You are not going to randomly mill into a Sharon. I'm so confused what Stellar's plan is. There's no way we could special summon 28 more times. But it looks like he's trying. Soul Piercer. We have Wakashi activating to become a Pendulum Scale. We can now Pendulum Summon. We can Pendulum Summon 2 bodies from our hand onto the field. Samurai Stealthy could steal a spell or trap from your opponent's graveyard. Huh? Steal a Triva Karma? Baron to floor for the hand trap. Special summon the Stealthy. Further link this up into Ancient Gear Ballista. Grab the Gearbox. No way. Yes way. There are 23 cards left on the deck. Gearbox trigger, grabbing from the deck a General Coral. We are now Pendulum Shokaning. It's only 1 draw per this 3 special summon play, or it's just going to be 2. Wagon into attack position, searching for a booster. We are now going to make a Galaxy Photon Dragon. Grab from the deck a Photon card. Galaxy Queen Light. What? Is this a first turn kill? Oh my gosh! We're first turn killing! Ain't no way! Aurora Dawn, come forth and summon triple token onto the field. This is actually happening. Your eyes are not deceiving you. A first turn kill is at the World freaking Championship. We're gonna summon from the deck, Baron to floor, pop in our own back row, using Makwashi to set up a Benki into the back row, Shokan into Dark Strike Fighter. We are now going to be discarding a card, summoning another token onto the field, discard again, summon another token again onto the field, Queen's Light to change the level to 43, tributing off of 43 at the Dark Strike Fighter for 8,600 damage for game. First turn kill under Max C. Wow. Josh is not playing against the first turn killer. Alubur, Imperm onto the Alubur. I do say it is correct to Imperm or Valor onto Alubur, because if they already have Branded Fusion, they're grabbing a Branded Lost, so it's a lose-lose either way. The only issue would be if they have a Branded Loss and a Branded Fusion, both in hand, then you obviously would not want to be negating, but you're just screwed from that. We have Springin's Kit, special summon itself onto the field, search our deck for a Branded in red. Return a card back in the deck after searching for that Branded red, as we now make a Verte Anna freaking Conda. Send the Branded Fusion from the deck to the grave. What is this animation on the field? What the heck is that? Is just a hole opened up in the floor? We potentially have a Jaugen Lock. Kieran is going to be popping another card in our hand to special summon itself onto the field as we chain Maxi to draw per special summon. Now, after the Anaconda resolves, we can't special summon again for the rest of the turn. That's it. We're locked out of special summoning. We went for a double special under Max C, but none of those cards were played afterward. But you did help them draw into a Max C, thus we are now getting Max C. This is a rank 8 Xyz. Non-target destroy the entire field of other monsters. Goodbye to the untargetable Sanctifier. Alibur's now negating the Garunix from popping back row. We're attempting to do so anyway. Bro, aren't you negated? Did he trick you? You negated? And then he's like, what if he thinks I'm not negated after negating me? Clearly I'm negated. I'm going to detach to pop your back row just for fun. And he did it. He forgot that he negated immediately after negating. Am I wrong on this? I can't understand this any other way. All right, Quiritis. Yeah, the nerves are real. It's like, I mean, if he's activating it with confidence, he must believe it's going to destroy my back row, so it must be doing that. We are under Max C, though. So can we lethal damage? Quiritis can be destroyed by battle without activating. If it gets destroyed by card effect, that's the problem. So we could Flame Burst, push it into the back row. That's going to be the play. So making our Link Reba, we also have our Vata to negate a monster effect. So let's set this up. Shokan into Dark. Dark, reborn a monster from the opponent's graveyard. Further linking this up into a Promethean Princess. We taking that Maxi challenge, boy. We do not care. Reborn our Flame Burge. This is it. Is this 10,000 damage? Push it, then go for game. Is there anything stopping this? I don't see it. Oh, wait. It does have that effect of reducing us to 0. Yeah, 0, 0, 0, 0, unless we negate with our Vata, which does not destroy, so it won't trigger. Ideally, we have a fire monster in the hand. Or we could pop the Hayang, which could then reborn from the graveyard. Negate, destroy, Hayang, trigger, reborn from the graveyard, push it, reborn it, lethal damage, 9,900. Magna Hut, which the Arvata was supposed to negate, but had to negate the Quiritis instead. That's a huge problem. 9 cards in the hand. Serenir blocking again. Come here, block that attack. Ain't no way. Serenir sending from the deck a Branded Sword, which when banished, will be able to add back the Fallen Albaz. We're gonna Original Sinful still under Max C. We gotta just go for it. We can't deck them out, but we have to set up some more disruption. As we now go into a Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight into Masquerena, trigger the Sunlight, add from the in graveyard back to our hand. Flameburst trigger, Reborn 2 level 1 fires, Flameburst back to our hand. End phase, it just like that, 13 cards in their hand. Double Bestial to stop lethal damage. That's wild. I mean, we had to go for it, right? Well, it was what, like 9 cards in the hand, and then we had to take the double Bestial challenge to battle phase. Droplet to open up our field for what? What do you think? Evenly freaking match is exactly what we're doing, banishing the entire field face down except the Kieran. Let's follow up Quem. Quem sent a Retribution from the deck, as we also get a Branded Lost into the graveyard to add it back through the effect of the Retribution. Yep, with the Branded Lost, our fusion summons cannot be responded to. So we are going to be in the response window to our own fusions. We can add whatever quick effects we want, and you just can't chain. So let's get to it. Holy moly, we are fusing into the Albion Branded Dragon. Can't respond to this. And then the newly summoned monster, you also can't respond. No response whatsoever, completely locked out. Lubellion, Chainlink 1, again, cannot respond to the Mirror Jade. So we could, in response to your own summon a Mirror Jade with the toggle on is how you would have to do it. You activate Mirror Jade. They can't change the Mirror Jade even if they have a droplet. Can't do it. Non-target monster banish. Open fields, but it's main phase 2. 6-card hand, full freaking feed. I end. I'm done. I'm gonna start talking to my teammates. Just do whatever you gotta do. Let's go. Yep, Maxi on the attack. That's Josh. That actually screws up the analytics we're trying to gather on usage of Maxi resulting to wins or losses. What the hell, man? All right. We got Fluanda freaking Ease. Reveal 3 level 1s. The opponent gets to grab one of them, which will always be the... grabs... did not... Wait. Who grabbed the Eglin? Rabina. Stellar took Rabina. I was confused by the dual log, how that looked. We got Eglin. That is the additional summon. We have not used up our regular normal summon. We're going to Psyframe Gear Gamma, negate the Rabina. Interesting. As we're going to chain the Advent of Adventure to add a Rabina from the deck to our hand to perform with our additional normal summon, or we could just add it back with Toucan. We don't even have to go straight into Rabina. Perfect. Is negating a Rabina adding back with a Gamma the correct play? I guess pretty much everything else would be chain link blocked, possibly. Toucan add back Rabina. Rabina is now we're in the open game state to activate the Unexplored Winds to use the opponent's monster to make our Empen. We are going to chain link block the Empen from an Ash Blossom so that we could safely add our Dreaming Town to flip the entire opponent's field face down and perform an additional summon on their turn. There it is. That's big. Rabina is here. Come to me as we add a Stry. Pick one for your duel. What does that mean? We are going to, let's set it up. Let's do it. So we're going to be able to tribute over any card the opponent controls. Special summon monster in attack position cannot activate. We're going to draw per special summon, by the way. And we're going to flip the entire opposing field face down after tribute summoning. And our tribute summon will either return your field, at least one card in your field and or grave back into the deck, or be an Apex Avian Omni Negate. Good luck, Stellar. You're the first turn killer, aren't you? First turn kill this. Wait, you switched over to Snake Eye Fire King. On normal summon, triggering our Magnificent Map to summon from the hand into our Eglin. We do have a chain link block on the Eglin, so it does not get Ash Blossomed by adding back the Toucan. Very important. Chain the Poplar. You are under Max C, sir. Okay. Special summon, draw a card, search with Eglin, and then Apex Avian is what I'm thinking. Yep, Apex, tribute off one of their monsters. Tribute off the Poplar into Apex Avian. Letting him keep the Snake Eye Ash. Interesting. Original Sinful, send Poplar into nothing. Now, Apex Avian is not a hard once return. So you triggered my field spell. I still have my Dreaming Town, which could summon the Apex Avian again. I'm doing it again. Summon Toucan, trigger Toucan, tribute over the Ash for the Apex Avian. Oh my gosh. And we have an Omni Negate again. Seems fair. Yes, indeed. Good luck, Stellar. I think Flandres is super slept on. It's such a good deck, and I'm not sure if Emery is playing Swallow's Cowrie. I didn't check from the deck list. We got the map reveal Eglin, banish from the deck a Stry. Eglin, chainlink block from Ash, add back the Stry. 6,700 damage. We got the Ryza. Ryza is here for 8,200 damage. Let's now finish this up. That's super BM, huh? Return that Gamma back on top of the deck. Valid play. Lethal damage. It's 4-4. Wow. Quantal, thank you for trying. Come again. I guess Maxi is the only way to counter losing the coin flip here. Nope. Did not Maxi the Vsauce, so I guess it's GG. Rip Josh's team. We have Hobness fusing with the tier cash in our hand to make our Kit Cal. Kit Cal, add from the deck our Rhino Hearts, which we already used up our normal summon, so we're going to send our Kit Cal to summon the Rhino to mill 5 and send a Sharon from the deck to the grave. Send the Sharon, mill the 5. Let's get triggering into fusion summoning. The mill 5 was not good. Wow. Heavy Storm, Kashtira field spell, Crime without a triggering, double imperm gone. As we now make that Baron to floor with the Vsauce Starfrost ending our turn. We have a special summon negates, and we have an Omni negates. There is no Fairy Tale Snow in the graveyard. Let's go. Let's go. Surely we could break this 2 negate field. We are playing Tearlament ourselves. Rhino Heart's going to be chainlink blocked thanks to the Scream, so the Baron cannot negate it even if you wanted to. I'm not saying you would want to. Randomly milling a Rhino with precision milling a Hobness. We're going to chainlink block the Hobness from being negated. As the Rhino summons to discard from the hand a Tearlament Kashtira. As we now fusion summon into our Kit Kalos. With Kit Cal, we're going to chainlink block it with our Tearlament Kashtira to mill 2, and then we could search or send a Tearlament. Milling garbage as we add from the deck a Sharon. We already used up our normal summon, so we could discard a monster to special summon. Ash negates. So if you Root Callous negate, it gets destroyed, it fuses. If you Baron to floor negate, it gets destroyed, it fuses. So the perfect card is Ash. That is great for the opposing player here. So it wasn't just 2 disruption, it was a secret Ash. Negate back into the hand. Kit Cal sending itself to get negated and destroyed to mill 5. So you don't get to summon, but mill 5 may mill the second copy of Sharon we have in our deck somewhere. Root-Cal come back. Mill 5. Our own Root-Cal chainlink blocks our Baron from negating Kit Cal mill 5 if that's what we wanted to do. Mill 5 indeed, and we have a chainlink block so you cannot negate the second and final fusion activation. Holy moly. Meta Noise add back the Tearlament Kashtira. The chainlink blocks are just wild. I mean, they're mostly random, but they're perfectly happening. Grab a Crime. I mean, think about the inverse. The opposing player milled 5, nothing triggered. We milled 5, we triggered 3 effects. Pure Gamba. Come forth, Rue, Kalos, thanks to our Tearlament Scream, you are reduced. You didn't even get to Baron to floor. You negated nothing. We are going to main phase 2, Tearlament Kashtira, banish the Scream, mill 3. There's no more fusion triggers here. But we could triple Tactics Talent, take a gander at that hand, return that Mudora, the Explorer, get that out of here. As we now Little Knights, we will get the trigger on summon to banish Root Kalos. Chat, what happened? One guy in the chat said if you win the coin flip, you win. That one guy said that. Off the top of the deck, Fairy Tale Snow, flip down that tier Kashtira. We are milling 3. We could not chain Little Knight and the Scream at the same time. Randomly triggering that Trick Clown, Sulliak, add from the deck a Tearlament, come to me. And thankfully, because of the reductionist Scream, you can't even swing over Little Knight. This is hopeless. I mean, this is the final game. That's it. Quantal's gonna win this. I mean, there's nothing. There's really nothing. If the Fairy Tale Snow goes to the grave, it can't summon. There are not enough cards in the graveyard to banish. Quantal absolutely has this. As the Scream chainlink blocks the Rhino, send from the deck 3 with precision, send the Hobness, Fusion Shokan into Kit Cal. Despite going second, Quantal is definitely winning this match for the team. Kit Cal sent itself, Reborn tier cash, mill 5, mill 3, mill 8 total. Bro, are you like, you gotta just finish this game. What are you doing? All right, spin that Fairy Tale Snow back, and just like that, to the battle phase, finish him. Just like that, Josh's team advances into the final round, X and 1. If they lose the final round, there is probably a small chance that they won't make it, but I do think there is a chance they don't make it. A chance. They still have to win the next round. Begin. Bonfire, Ash, negate that Bonfire. Will Sir Greed be able to play through that Ash Blossom? With the Ambler Whale, the amount of disruptions we have here are, they're not that crazy. But we have summon the Masquerader from the back row through the effect of the Flame Burst, which will then be able to link off during the opponent's turn into something like a Little Knight or an Apollo USA. Either or will be at least 2 disruption. We have Promethean Princess, which will pop a card in the field on special summon. We also have Ambler Whale, which could pop a card if the Promethean dies, or the Masquerena. So about 4 to maybe 5 disruptions. Not too crazy. Opening up with Eponyx, adding a Skyburn, which could pop a card in the field. We're going to Fire King Sanctuary, setting up that Fire King Island, and now's the time. Cross out Designate, banishing your Flame Burst from the game forever. We don't have a way to get it back. So that one of Flame Burst, just to negate the opponent's Flame Burst from summoning Masquerena from the back row, that's huge. And it knocks off about 2 disruptions. So from 4 disruption, down to 2. We have Ambler Whale and Promethean Princess. Fire King Island, popping the Onyx to grab a not Snake Eye, but Sacred Fire King Garunix. And we're gonna hit him with the Max C. We have Call with the Grave and Crossout Designator. So Josh opened up a combination of Crossout, called by Max C, Ash Blossom. What was the 5th card? Eponyx? Special summon that Garunix. Garunix trigger, also triggering our Promethean Prince to take out that Garunix. So we're now down to just the Ambler Whale as our only form of disruption, and it's super conditional. It will trigger to pop a card in the field non-targeting if a Link 3 or lower is destroyed. Like now. Okay, it had the super condition happened. Get poppin', taking out the Fire King Island. Island has no monsters to wipe out. Set a card, and the turn. We know what that set card is, right? Isn't it a Skyburn? So Josh is left with absolutely nothing. Oh boy. Well, Onyx ad, but that's still gonna be nothing. That's still nothing. No disruption. Nothing. Original Sinful. Return Poplar. Adding an Oak. Oak. Reborn Snake Eye Ash. Ash at Poplar, Poplar summon. Let's speed this up. It's the final round. Reborn. I guess we don't play Snake Eye Divine Temple. We didn't Poplar effect. Okay, sure. Oak, Poplar, and Ash. Ash add the Onyx. We already used up our normal summon. We're gonna link this up into Hida. Hida steal a fire monster from the opponent's graveyard. We get to trigger that Garunix, and we do. Pop in Kieran from our deck to reborn or summon from the hand a Fire King. 9450 damage, and Josh sadly loses game number 1. Now, Josh's team has the highest tiebreakers going into the final round, but I say they still need to win this round, or at least win enough duels to further increase their tiebreaker. If they get 5-0'd, that increases the chance that they don't make it to day 2. So at least they don't get 5-0'd. You get some win. Let's go. Emre is going second. Oh boy. Is this uninterrupted? No. We have Ash. Negate the Nightmare Throne. If they follow up D-Lotus, it's over. Oh, we got Max C. It's not over. It's not over. Good, good. Now, how much do we want to summon under Max C? You may just make a Phantom of Yubel, then end. Baylor, negate the Spirit of Yubel. We are just firing off our entire hand of hand traps. Change Shavara under Max freaking C, by the way. So you got the opponent to draw an additional card, make you draw an additional card, as they are going to definitively grab that Nightmare Pain. Was the Nightmare Pain that important? Trigger the Spirit? I mean, do you still have to summon a Phantom of Yubel? You're summoning a lot. So I think we're at least committing to a Soul of Rage under Max C. Summon Yubel. Soul of Rage, and the Escape, and then Phantom of Yubel end the turn. So Emre is going to start the turn with 8 cards in hand to try to break this field. Pop, add Spirit. So a Battle Hand Trap, we're going to keep that in the hand. Turn back, Phantom of Yubel. Yep, as I said, 8 cards on the draw. Let's talk about this. Link off with a special summon into Little Knight Banish, into Little Knight Banish, into we could pop a card with the... Wait, we don't have Yama and Grave. So we actually can't pop a card. And then we have Phantom of Yubel. So at best, we have 4 disruptions. At worst, we only have 2. So 2 or 4, 2 to 4 disruptions. Bestial Lubellion, we're going to Phantom of Yubel. Negate, we're now down to 1 or 3 disruptions. 1 or 3. We can't escape and use Soul of Rage in the same turn in this situation. Hitting him with the Maxi again. Not only are you activating to special summon, you're going to special summon again through the Soul of Rage unless you choose to use your escape. We're now down to 1 disruption. That's it. 1. Just 1. Do we pop the Primera? We are. And we already used up our normal summon. Uh-oh. Despite us under Maxi, we imperm the Soul of Rage so we would not get an additional draw. Taking out that Primera, we're now down to 0 disruption. Ghost Bell negating the Soul of Rage? You have every single hand trap in your deck. Bell, Valor, Ash, Maxi, well, and Imperm. We got everything. Emblem of Oath, setting up with the field spell discard, setting up from the deck likely a Primera. And we're going to Gargoyle, sending from our backward Trudea to special summon to then tribute our Gargoyle to make our Bestial Lubellion to set up a Branded Regained. We saw from many other duels here how important that Branded Regained is. Now, with this current field, we could summon a Legation to pop a card on the field and draw. Return from the grave, summon a Phantom of Yubel. It's now time to Primera and chain our field spell to pop Phantom of Yubel, which Phantom of Yubel can negate. We don't have a chain link block unless we have Centurion Bonds. No block in sight. There's the Bonds, but it's not in the graveyard. So do we negate this? We just droplet in. We don't even Phantom of Yubel. We don't care. Now, 2,000 defense, that's 4 attacks per game. 4 Yubels for Quadra Reflected 2,000 damage. I think we easily have 4 Yubels. So this summons a Yubel, and then, like, we have it. It's there. We have 4. Well, so you're thinking, why didn't he summon another Phantom of Yubel? He's got Squirmer. So attack. He could trigger the field spell to summon the Spirit of Yubel. Let's go. It's happening. Squirmer for game. On summon, pop on the Terra Incarnate, trigger the Throne. Terra Incarnate's triggering? Ultimate Nightmare? You play Ultimate Nightmare. Most players do not play that card. What the hell is going on here? We got Spirit. We got Ultimate Nightmare. We don't care. We're still activating. And let's reflect that final amount of lethal damage. Right now, they're down 2. It is 2-0 at the moment. They need 5 points to knock them out. And the worst case scenario is a 5-0, which will massively affect negatively their tiebreaker and their chances of making it to day 2. Well, we are going first with Akashi. That is a pretty good starter. Dissipator Loop, 2 cards in the hand. Randomly banishing a Book of Eclipse. Ooh, that would have been great against Synchros. Come back on the field, banish again. Randomly banishing a Prayers of the Voiceless Voice. Quantal switching to Voiceless. Did we see Quantal and Voiceless in today's tournament? I don't remember that. We have Ash Blossom negating the pre-prep, which adds 2 cards in the deck, a Ritual Spell and a Ritual Monster. We still have the Baron to Floor negate, and we have the Dissipator Monster negate. Oh no, we're getting 3-0'd. Now 3-0 is not done. 5-0, you're done. So there's 2 more duels at least before we get potentially 5-0'd. Dissipator, return. We're doing it again. This time we're gonna attack with it. 12,000 damage. just like that. Let's see. The next duel. We went into this round as the first place team, we being Josh's team. So for the first set getting 3-0'd, that is devastating. But they do have that padding of being able to get 3-0'd and it's still being okay. 5-0 will not be okay. Josh going first. Everyone's saying you win the coin flip, you win the duel. Now, it doesn't look like it, but this Masquerena could go into a 4 material Apollo USA. So the field spell will trigger to summon Flameburst. Flameburst will summon the Oak. Oak will summon from the graveyard and Ash. Ash could grab Poplar, which could also summon. And then Masquerena could link up with the entire field of all the tiny level 1s for a massive Apollo. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Battle phase to play around Masquerena. Ooh-wee, does not mean that we have an evenly match. Okay, I'm going to Maxi also. So if you wanted to finger my Maxi, you're now also going to be fingering yourself. This will trigger the field spell to summon the Flameburst. We chose to not trigger the field spell. Okay, we hold in because we are under Maxi. We don't want to give the opponent too many cards. So we're just going to hold. They Maxied also, no field spell effect. We're guaranteed given another turn, so why just special summon for no reason? Just chill. And that's exactly what Josh is doing as we are now caught up to the absolute live duel. Baron to floor with that Omni Negate, even under Max C. How much are we willing to do ourselves within main phase 2? So I would say, oh, we are going to use the field spell. Maybe to bait the Baron to floor Negate. We didn't want to use the field spell earlier, but now there's an opportunity where it will at least have Baron negate and then Imperm mate negate the negate. Come forth, Flameburst. And we will get to draw for this Flameburst summon. Now, Flameburst definitely does not want to summon the Oak, right? The Oak would be another draw into an Ash, which could then summon a Poplar. We don't want to give them at least 1 to 3 more draws. Setting up with that stand-up Centurion. This is ideal if you want to make minimal plays under a Max C. We already committed to our normal summon, as you can see here. Discarding Synchro Rumble to set up a Primera, which we may not want to summon under Max C. And what's good about Primera, and only Primera, is that it being a light, it will work well with a Bestial to make a Chaos Angel. On the opponent's turn, that is. We're adding. We're not special summoning. This is an add to the hand. To be clear, we're still under Max C. Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oak, don't special summon again. It's fine. End phase, they draw 1. Not a big deal. Alrighty. Within the main phase, so the Baron to floor already used up its negate. It's done. So maybe in the standby phase, it's going to reborn a monster from the graveyard. Maybe reborn a Bestial. Reborn the Baldrake, which is a form of disruption. Yes. Here's a situation. If the first thing we do in the main phase is activate Flameburst to push the Bestial into the back row, we can't use Primera to synchro with that Bestial no matter what, unless we have another Bestial in the hand. So we're really thinking with that Baron to floor, is he just going to push our Bestial back? Oh, we kept the Bestial in grave. Baron to floor, still on the field here. So what now? Primera's main play will be going into a Chaos Angel unaffected from all monster activated effects. Is that going to be enough? And the Chaos Angel will be banishing the Flameburst from the game for good. It will be gone. I should stand to get good blood flow. That's something I was not good on today. Phalanx is going to temporarily banish the Flameburst for just 1 turn. Until the next standby phase, it will be special summoned back on the field. During our own turn, which it will be activatable to reborn that Baron to floor, by the way. So that Baron to floor has Josh's name on it. We are going to Primera, special summon from the back row, triggering. Oh my gosh, it's happening right now. I was thinking like next turn, Baron to... Nope, how about now? Uh-oh, that's a big oopsie. We just gave the opponent a fully activatable Baron to floor, which will negate the stand-up Centurion. So because we did not activate Primera and Baldrake in the same chain, now the Baron can negate the stand-up, they don't make a Chaos Angel, and we super done goofed. Now, if this were a Magna Hut could be Chain Link 2 to block the stand-up Centurion, but then Baron de Floor could negate and destroy it, and you would still not synchro. He checkmated himself. This was a massive blunder. I think this is the biggest misplay I've seen in the entire tournament today. So we're gonna have to just use the Baldrake instead. Yeah, that was big. That was definitely a screw up. Because the Chaos Angel would be unaffected by the Baron de Floor. Can't negate it. We could banish the Baron de Floor. Baron de Floor could try to negate. It wouldn't do anything. And then unaffected from activate effects, Chaos Angel, where otherwise we have nothing. So I do think that Josh's team will have at least one win based off of that play. Volcanics, popping the Ash, grabbing the Grunix. Now, to be fair, they have been dueling for at least 9.5 hours. So I'm assuming they are incredibly fatigued. Garunix on summon, activate to pop from the deck. We are popping a Fire King if we have another Fire King in the hand or in graveyard, which we don't know if we have one in the hand. Otherwise, you don't pop Kieran. Kieran would do nothing. See, we don't pop the Kieran, we pop the Volcanics instead. Volcanics trigger, summon from the deck. Is Volcanics still not out in the TCG? I don't even know. I think maybe it recently came out. To battle phase we go, 8,900. Completely messing it up by not summoning our Baldrake and the Primera within the same chain link, thus giving Josh a free Baron de Floor. And we even thought in the standby phase of getting rid of our own Baron de Floor. So do I keep Baron de Floor? We already used its negate. Had we jumped off the field to summon a Baldrake from the graveyard, even that would have saved us from giving them Baron. Wow. Let's hop on another one. All right, 1 at the top, 3 at the bottom. You need 5 wins to win the entire round. Are you ready? Begin. Emre is playing Flaunderies or Centurion. I don't know which. We got disruptions on disruptions. So we have Monster Negate through the Apollo. We have the Ambler Whale, which could reborn the Masquerena if destroyed by, let's say, a Kieran. And that's going to be a double little night play. And then we have the Engraved Promethean to pop a monster on special summon. We also have Garunix, which will pop Kieran to then pop another card in the field. So that's about 6 disruptions because I don't know where the Arvanta is, which would be a 7th. Let's go. 6. 7, because Ambler Whale will also pop. Whoop, we just lost 2 because of the Snatch Steal. What the hell? We got snatched. Snatch Steal is fully unlimited. Pot of Duality grabbing off the top of the deck and unexplored wins. We're going to get Kieran-ing. We're going to get negating. Imperm, negate the Apollo, which definitely wanted to be used on a Flaunderies monster, ideally. But we got to do what we got to do. As the Kieran takes out the Ambler Whale to reborn the Masquerena, we are ready. Garunix is about to do one of the disruptions we're talking about on our hand here. So we are going to pop Kieran to pop a card in the fields. And then Masquerena is ready. Yep. Pop Kieran. Trigger Ponix. Will there be a surprise Arvata from the hand for another form of disruption? Summon Volcanics. Pop in the back row as we now trigger the Ponix and the Volcanics. So this is Little Knight, Promethean, and the Ambler Whale. There's the Arvata now in our hand as we summon our Eglin with no chain link block. Negate. The Impermanence hard carried this duel, negating the Apollo, which should have negated the Ash and the Kieran successfully. We're now going into that Little Knight play. As we on-summon Little Knight, banishing the Eglin off the field. Sure, and let's go from there. Snatch Steal, gaining 1,000 life, thank you very much. add the Ponix back, and let's speed this up because Emre is super screwed. Just like that, 8,500 damage. It was a valiant effort, and it is now 4-1. One more loss, and they very well may not make it to day 2. Quantal, it's up to you, boy. Quantal just couldn't win the coin flip for some reason. Okay, grabbing a duplication for the deck. Why not? So we could use the duplication to copy the Branded Fusion to fuse into our Mirror Jade play. We have the Fairy Tale Snow with not that many materials in graveyard to banish to summon, then flip a monster face down. But with the Sanctifier, we could not only stop something like an Evenly Match if Quantal were to have it, but we could reborn an Albaz to then fuse with the opponent's field. Seti. Discard the King Sark to add a King Sark plus draw a random card. Activate that King Sark. Reborn the Seti, and now we're going to give you Maxi as I give myself an Albaz, and you're going to chain Hobness to summon a Mill 3. So I'm going to Fusion Duplication, copy the Branded Fusion to get Fusion playing. Send from the deck an Albaz and Cartesia to make the Albion Branded Dragon, which will fuse with our graveyard if we want to. Randomly milling a Fairy Tale Snow off the top of the deck, but no fusion triggers. Will the Albaz fuse? Do we activate it? Albion's activating. Albaz is activating. Discarding the Keeper to likely fuse with the Seti. Drop Lit is going to send 2 cards to negate 2 cards, negating the Albion, negating the Albaz, double negates. That was quite devastating. Had we not done this in the same chain, the Droplet could have still been used on the Sanctifier, I guess, so maybe it did not matter as much. The Meta Noise is being added from the deck to the hand through the screen, being randomly milled. We are going to be discarding the Meta Noise as the Brightest Blazing negates everything except the Sanctifier. Negate, 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 negate. Triple Tactics Talent Mate. We're going for the draw 2 instead of taking control. We got Mudora. Sure, Suicide with the Seti. I don't think we forgot, but the King Sark is negated from sending through its card effect. Fairy Tale Snow within the battle phase to take out the Alibur. And we have our own Fairy Tale Snow, but it will be shuffled back into the deck if the Mudora. So this could be an opportunity right now. Fairy Tale Snow flip down the Dugaris while they do not have Mudora in the graveyard to shuffle the Fairy Tale Snow back in the deck. Yeah, I'm coaching straight up. Just do it. Yep, we doing it. Banish 7, flip Dugaris into max seat. Dugaris would draw 2, discard 1. We definitely do not want to deal with that. Come forth. We are in main phase 2. Flip that Fool face down. And did we draw into a tier field spell or what? What the heck? We have 0 normal summons left, so we're going to banish a card from the hand or graveyard to mill 3. Goodbye to the crime. Randomly mill 3, and we are triggering. Oh, that's so good. This is a Baron to floor at least. Yep. That's huge. Destrudo, target the clown, make a Baron to floor with the Tearlamy Kashtira. That random 3, massive. We're gonna pop our own card with the Tearlamy field spell, getting rid of the Dugaris just so we can get the Fairy Tale Snow and Mudora into the graveyard. Otherwise, it would be stuck on the field. As I said, we're going for that Baron to floor play. Synchro it up into our Omni Negate. Now, what did we add from the deck? We added a Rhino. So Kick Cal, send itself to mill 5 plus trigger the Rhino. Let's get to it. Let's do it. Send from the deck a Hobness and mill 5. From the mill 5, we have a Triva Karma, which could search for a trap. Oh boy. And we now got Rukal, special summon negate. Triva Karma, come to me. We're gonna grab a Tearlament Scream. With the Scream, we could pop it with Baron to floor if we wanted to after we decide to mill 3 through the summon. So we Dweller, trigger Scream, mill 3, Baron to floor, pop it possibly. Mill 3, no good. Dweller, Baron to floor, popping the Fairy Tale Snow in main phase 2. We turned off Albion. Yeah, Albion in the end phase was going to activate, and now it doesn't. Retribution in response to the Abyss Dweller turning off our graveyard. Mudora is gonna get spinning. I do not think so. You want to add back the Brightest Blazing? Not happening. We're turning it back into the deck alongside the Fairytale Snow. Ooh, this is not looking good. Oh, that's it. Quantal is definitely taking this game. To battle phase we go. We refuse to get 5-1. It ain't happening. 2-4. Now, if they win this round, they're guaranteed going in tomorrow, and they'll also play against the weakest team going into tomorrow. So even you I would say getting the first place seed could be an ideal situation. Well, they just lost the first coin flip. Not a good sign. As we Gold Sark banish from the deck. Tragedy. If Josh quickly loses, we could very quickly hop on over to Jesse's games. Albion Branded Dragon is here. This will not count towards the Max C, but now this will. If the Albion Sanctifier activates, Josh will draw for Max C. Branded Dragon right now, draw for Max C on the Mirror Jade summon. We now have our non-target monster banish. Show me the TTT. Imperm, can't be used on Sanctifier. We are going to negate that Mirror Jade though. Sure. Now, the Mirror Jade could still send a Rinbrum to then reborn the Albaz to fuse with the opponent's field. And we do have a Fairytale Snow in the graveyard. All Canix. Activating on summon to destroy one other fire in the hand or face up. Other. And then search our deck. So this is essentially a second field spell effect. We're popping our Vata to grab a Garunix. Garunix will trigger to summon. This is pretty big. The Garunix summoning will then activate to pop a Kirin to then reborn the Arvata, and we're going to immediately not only pop a card in the field non-targeting, which could take off the Sanctifier Dragon, we also will have a monster negate through the Arvata. So the fact that we had Arvata in the hand to pop with Volcanics, perfect. Come forth, zit. Setting up the non-target pop plus monster negate. On Josh's side here, well, I'm going to negate everything. Do we chain? Oh, this is incredibly desperate. The fact that we use that Brightest Blazing right here, right now, we really do not want that Garunix to resolve. So instead, we're going to pop 2 cards in the field, dodge the negate, and we're not only popping 2, we're going to pop 1 card non-targeting and have a monster negate. This is massive. This is a crazy play. So we targeted the set card and the Mirror Jade. Yep. Pop 2, pop 1, monster negate. This looks like Josh wins this. Straight up. Just from what I'm seeing at the moment, this is an incredible turn 2. That Max C is putting in some good work also. Mirror Jade going for the nothing. It's negated, but we could, as I said, Rinbrum. Get the Rinbrum into the graveyard, and our graveyard's not going to be affected by any of these plays except the Arvata negating the Rinbrum, reborn in the Albaz. That may be, that's going to be an issue for Subadok once that monster negate comes out. Goodbye to the Branded in red, which we didn't want to use. Well, should we have at least added a card from the grave back to the hand? If we add back the Albaz, we then can't use Rinbrum, so we would not want to do that. And while the Skyburn targets the Albion, we want to be non-target popping it through the effect of the Kirin. Yep. Volcanic summon a Garunix from the deck. The Mirror Jade is activating to wipe out the entire opponent's field of monsters during the end phase. triggering the Ponix to come forth and summon. Ponix will be searching and setting up for the Fire King Island. Yep. Resolve it. Garunix. Arvata. The pop is now. On the summon, Arvata, pop, probably the Sanctifier. The Brightest Blazing was used on the Sanctifier, so everything else was negated but the Sanctifier. We're thinking, he's probably thinking on the pop. Arvata wiping out the untargetable Sanctifier, as I said. Ponix now searching for our Fire King Sanctuary to set up the Fire King Island. Wow. This is something. This is something, and it, Josh did go second, but he had max C for both turns. And I've joked many times, people would say, how do you deal with Branded? I keep on losing to them, or they look ridiculous in your tournaments. You should have 2 max C, one for their turn and one for yours. That's how you beat Branded, as you see here. Fire King Island popping from the hand or field, taking out our Arvata Monster Negate to grab a Kirin, trigger the Arvata to reborn from the graveyard. You may not be thinking this, but we're setting up 8,000 damage. That is a reality. In order to 8,000 damage, all you need is 4 bodies on the field. 3 if you could reborn a dark or fire from the opponent's graveyard. Well, there's a Fairy Tale Snow, which actually screws up our lethal plan. So I think we're thinking extra hard only because of that Fairy Tale Snow screwing things up. Otherwise, you easily, with the 4 bodies, with the 3, you make a Promethean, reborn a monster from the grave, and then you make the Zelantis, and then you banish the field plus your 1 extra body. You then pop the extra body. We don't want to do any of that because of the snow. Take that Aluber out of here. I don't think we even had a fire in the grave to reborn, unfortunately. So the 3 bodies would have been enough had there been an Ash Blossom in grave. Oh boy. So the thought of if Ash Blossom were to have negated any of our 2 max Cs, we had a better play this turn. Linker rebo it up. Main phase 2, we could at least set up a Promethean. The question is, with Promethean reborning an Arvata, that's not that good. So we're going to Little Knight on someone banished. We could still go into a Promethean Princess off of this, by the way. On summon, target a card on the field or in the graveyard to banish. And do not forget, with the Mirror Jade activated, you're losing your field in the end phase. And it's been a really long day, so there is a chance that the Josh may forget. It was a while ago, right? It was like minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, Mirror Jade activated. We're banishing that Albion. Uh-oh, end phase popping. It's coming. What else are we doing? At least get Promethean in the graveyard, yes? We're getting wiped. We wiping. That's a wipe. Wipe the field. Oh boy. There's no way he forgot that was gonna happen, right? Should he have at least summoned Promethean? Get Promethean in the graveyard? I mean, how would Promethean even help if he has no other fire monster on the field? So what was looking really good for Josh, the Mirror Jade just actually screwed up everything. Ooh, we have High Avatar Garunix, which was on field alongside the Little Knights. So I'm thinking we didn't forget. We now got a body on the field thanks to you destroying our Garunix. And the problem is, we have to deal with Garunix without destroying it. You destroy it by battle, we're screwed. You destroy it by card effect, we're screwed. Why? That's going to trigger the Garunix in graveyard to not only pop a card in the field, but to then reborn Arvata to have a monster negate. Oh boy, what did we add? Wait, I didn't see it. Did this just resolve without showing the dual log? What the heck? Oh, there we go. Branded in white. We're going to be banishing from the graveyard if we have an Albaz in grave, which we do. And remember, we still have that Fairy Tale Snow. So as long as Subaduck does not destroy that Garunix by Battle of Card Effect, we should be good. And the Skyburn would otherwise be the really good way to trigger our own Garunix in grave. Mirror Jade with that non-target monster banish. Big problem. Fairy Tale Snow. We're going to have Branded in High Spirits, getting a fusion monster into the graveyard to trigger during the end phase. We are also going to be able to search our deck for an Albaz monster. Titan Clad being sent. Get rid of the Albaz, search our deck. Titan Clad's going to reborn from the deck. I should say just summon from the deck. Some people like to say teleport from the deck. What are we grabbing? We still have our normal summon. Kieran in hand, it would be a big play. With Kieran in hand, pop the Arvato. That will trigger the Garunix in grave to pop a Kieran to the problem is, if you activate Kieran, you chain Mirror Jade to banish. So they're at a standstill. I can't Mirror Jade, and I can't Kieran. Well, we're doing it. So we could now... I mean, what did I say? I can't Mirror Jade because you have Kieran, but then I Mirror Jaded. Had we fired off the Kieran first, we would have been screwed because we would have banished the Garunix on Chainlink 2. Now the Kieran gets banished, but who cares? We don't care about that Kieran one bit because the third Kieran is in the deck. And that's the Kieran we care about. Garunix is triggering. Cartesia is fusing. Okay. Summon Garunix, then activate Garunix, pop Kieran, reborn Arvata. Oh boy. Monster Negate and non-target pop is coming. The double whammy. Cartesia fusing with... What are we fusing with? Our hand? Do we have a play with the hand? We are. With the hand, we summon our Grand Granole. This is it. The non-target pop into the Monster Negate. Grand Granole triggering twice, by the way, because you summoned a monster through a monster effect. So we're going to summon from the deck or from the extra deck as we also send to the graveyard. Oh boy. Huh? Would Josh only play 2 Kieran? There's 1 Kieran banished, 1 in grave. There's a third one in the deck. Wouldn't popping Kieran... Is he really going for the Sanctuary play? Is he really going for the Sanctuary play? This states if your opponent's special summons, immediately after this effect resolves, exceeds into a Hyang, which will wipe out all other monsters, but don't you need a regular Garunix in the deck? And the regular Garunix is already in the graveyard, so we popped Volcanics and nothing happened. There's no way you play 2 Kieran. I can look it up. Does he play 2 Kieran? He plays 2 Kieran, not 3. Only 2. Oh my gosh. Only 2 Kieran. What? Is that standard? 90% 3? You had to be in the 10%, mate. Oh my gosh. Well, now we're screwed. We're super screwed. I was hoping that we are summoning a Garunix from the deck, the one that's already in the graveyard, to go into the rank 8 Xyz. I don't think he even plays that nonsense. The rank 8 Xyz, probably not. To battle phase we go. A Garunix being destroyed, nothing triggers off of that. Nothing happens. We could not attack directly due to Little Knighting this turn. I think we did that, right? The third Kieran's in a different deck? No, who's playing? You think one of his teammates stole his third Kieran? No, and what? How? Dragostapelia is a monster negate on field. Someone stole the third Kieran for crossout? Oh my gosh. Garunix activating to wipe out the entire field of other monsters, which the Dragostapelia will negate. If we have a quick effect to dodge the Dragostapelia, the wipeage is coming. We ain't wiping. Now, you could suicide and Dragostapelia, trigger Garunix Engrave, but without a third Kieran in the deck, is that even a good play? You get a fat Garunix on the field, that's at least something. You could maybe bait Cartesia activating within the main phase. 5 cards left in the extra deck for Subaduck, by the way. As I said, battle phase it up. This is the way. Cartesia's not activatable. Trigger the Garunix all within the damage step. And the Garunix gets a little boost from what we summon. I say we destroy from the deck, we gain half of its attack, right? Yeah. Destroy from the hand, deck, or face up, and then get a half boost. Half. We actually also triggered the effect of the OG Garunix. When destroyed by battle, it summons a Fire King from the deck, which we didn't even activate the Volcanics. We did not trigger Garunix. Are we out of cards to pop from the deck? We didn't want a little attack boost, not that that was an important thing to do. Fairy Tale Snow had 19 cards in the graveyard. I hate to say it, but I think Josh knows this is over. I feel like I could feel it in his plays. They're kind of like, not sluggish in a bad way, like he's making mistakes. They just feel like they're dragging on a little bit. Like, oh gosh, I guess I suicide. I guess I attack into that. Why not? Oh boy. What is left in Subaduck's 5-card extra deck? Generally, the Mirror Jade is played at 2. We have 1 banished Mirror Jade at the moment. If we look into the graveyard, the second Mirror Jade should still be definitely in that extra deck. The Quem's waiting for a card to be moving from the extra deck to reborn a monster from the grave. We got the Brandon High Spirits adding back to the hand. And if we could wrap this duel up, that will be defeating Josh's entire team from just this one duel. Got the Brightest Blazing Recycling, which is quite insane. You can only use one effect and only once that turn. So the turn you activate the Brightening Blazing, you cannot also add it back during the end phase. Wait, back in my day, you Gold Sark, a Judgment Dragon, and then you go for the Handshake. Kit is here, special summon. Adding a banished, engrave, or from the deck, nothing, because the Veiler negates or the Cartesia dodges the Veiler by fusing with the Kit. That's exactly what we're doing. Let's go. Use it. I mean, we obviously got something. I mean, 5 cards left in the extra deck. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Our second Grand Grudnol is here. Yes, indeed. Subaduck feels like he's sleeping also, or maybe because it's one of the rare live duels we're watching the day. The whole day we're blazing fast, quick matches, quick duels, and now we got that live gameplay. Quem triggering, reborning Sanctifier. That is devastating. Come forth. Now, in Graveyard, we do not have the Sacred Garunix because it's face down. And nothing's going to trigger off of destroying it by battle. So we want to take out the Volcanics first, then the Sacred Garunix. Oh, Guardian Chimera. Guardian Chimera is here, and it can attack directly where normally it would not be able to do so. And we have the Skyburn protecting our monster. There goes our cross-out designator, and only one person on the team is allowed to play the cross-out designator. So Josh took that away from Emre and from, I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry. Emre, Quantal. Sorry. No trigger, nothing. 3,300 to the face. 15, we don't have lethal. We good. Okay, so if Josh picks up his deck and adds anything, I think he still loses. What's there to add? Had Josh been playing a third Kieran, I think there was a chance. But, you know, he's obviously not playing a third Kieran for a reason. Maybe, you know, he performs better today without the third Kieran, and because of that, he's in this spot of doing that well. Poplar off the top of the deck for an original Sinful. Has Snake Eye Ash been used yet? We haven't even gone into our Snake Eye engine. Could this really be enough? Send, summon, Ash, add the second Poplar, special Poplar, and send the Poplar in the back row for a Flameburge. Is that really gonna be doing much? Flameburge can't target the Albion Sanctifier. Okay, Volcanics in the back row. Winnable. There's a lot of copium in the chat right now. Yeah, remember that card that negates everything? Negate it all. Negate, 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 negate. Oh boy. Please put Josh out of his misery. Could something happen to Subadoc? I mean, again, it's a LAN event. They can't disconnect. They should not be able to. Doesn't even activate Link Karibo. He's that demoralized. Lethal damage. Josh's team loses round 5, ending day 1 with the X2 record, but went into round 5 with the highest tiebreaker. So I would say it's not 50-50 to make it in a day 2. I would say it's probably like 80% plus, and I'm making up random numbers. So it's more likely he's in day 2 than not. And let's hop on over to Jesse. Snipe Hunters is making it to day 2 if these numbers are final, and they are. It says second place, Snipe Hunters, first place, CER. They are in the top 2, and, well, it was by 2 wins. by 2 wins. Third and fourth were 24 wins, and Snipe Hunters had 26 wins. So what did I say? Those 2 wins they got were needed, because otherwise, if they got 5-0'd, they would have tied with BOTB and Brazil. And I think that this is the second tiebreaker, which they would have got 3rd place. So they needed 2 wins. Otherwise, BOTB would have been going on in the top 2 for the next day. So let's quickly set up Jesse's game, and then we're going to be wrapping this up for a day 2. Summon a token, level 13, boost, Dark Strike Fighter, tribute, lethal damage. Get better, get good. All right, Jesse. So for the first set, it is 2-1. Jesse is the only one that lost, but that's fine. Let's keep on going. Let's watch Jesse again. You know, he got first turn killed. All right. Wow. Amble Whale in the back row and pop to the field spell. First time. King Sark, we're going to chain the Kieran to that King Sark, and we're going to use the Droplet to negate the Flameburge, negate the Apollo USA, no Monster Negate, no Reborn in Amble Whale from our back row, and the Kieran is popping the Flameburge to Reborn 2 level 1 fires in the grave. Let's go. We'll get to the Jesse Con games. Don't worry. This may be the last one. Reborn from the grave, popping the Kieran on field, not from the deck. We're going to finger the Kieran. That is massive. The Kieran really wants to summon an Arvata from the graveyard and non-target pop the King Sark, and then we're good. We don't have a Skyburn. Rhino sending Hovness into Max C. Jesse, GG. Let's get Fusion Summoning into Kick Cow. Are we under draw or something? What happened? Are we drawing? Mill 5, Trivikarma, search our deck. Grabbing the Tearlament Field spell and a Sharon. Tearlament Field, grab from the deck a second Sharon. Sharon, send Sharon from the hand. We have used up our normal summon. The Maxi is properly drawing. As we trigger the Sharon Engrave to summon our Kaleido Heart on summon under the Maxi, we're going to pop Kaleido and spin the back row card back into the deck. The Promethean Princess will be taking out the Sharon as the Link Rebo also tributes off the Ash before it gets destroyed. Sharon already activated Fuse, so it won't happen again. But the Kaleido will be reborning after we take out that back row card. Yep. Back into the deck you go, so we don't even get to know what it was. As we reborn and send from the deck a Meta Noise, which will add back a Tear engraved to our hand here, which will be our Tearlament Kashtira. Tear Kashtira, mill by banishing a card from the grave. We're going to mill 3. What are we milling here? Dotscaper into a Lingeribo. Destrudo for level 6. Level 6 Destrudo. What do we do with that? As we now make a Dark. Are we stealing a level 4 from the opponent's graveyard? What the heck are we taking? Masquerena. Not something with a level to use with our Destrudo. As we link 3 it up into a Curious. Bro, you're decking him out, aren't you? Aren't you? Rainbow Bridge, banish, grabbing the field spell. Curious will be milling 3. Do we have a Fairy Tale Snow in the grave yet? Where's the snow? Grabbing the walls of the Imperial Tomb plus a Crystal Beast as we randomly mill the Jet Synchron. We're going to be sending the Dumatef from the deck, discarding to also send the Happy. Dumatef, reborn. Happy, reborn. We're going to Xyz into the Zombie Vampire. There's no way we don't have an out to this. Baylor, something. Mill 4, stealing a Cyframe Gear Gamma from the opponent's graveyard, special summoning from our graveyard. I'm setting into a Baron to floor. We're done special summoning. That's it. Curious, when sent to the graveyard, is going to grab back a card destruction for game. No way! Ash, negate that card destruction. Baron to floor, negate the negates. What? How did this happen? You have to discard everything and you lose. No way! Wow! That's the end. That's it. The end. There you go. And yes, his team won. After that, 8-1. So they won 2 games of the start, and then they won the next 3, default in the next 3 automatically. 8-1. Let's see if they are going to day 2. Yes, they are. Team 7 in second place, guaranteed going to day 2. Heroes Future, Team 7, Snipe Hunters, and CER. All 4 of those teams are advancing to the grand finale World Championship. And thank you all immensely for the wonderful day. I appreciate it greatly. Thank you, thank you, thank you.